What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Scrap Time. We got the Major 2 qualifiers, Major 2 cycle coming up, and as always, I'm joined by my esteemed crew of guests, sipping on a coffee. Is that a coffee, Chili? Ooh. Sipping over there, we got the guy,
gross.
Mr. Chell God himself, Mr. Chelly.
That looks gross.
And at the bottom, we got the diabolical LA Thieves duo. Both wearing LA Thieves merch today. Wow. That's crazy.
Oh, I do.
Bottom right,
I didn't yet. I just grabbed a shirt out the closet.
just a clean shirt out the
Much
closet.
like his political affiliations, red as fuck. How you doing, Cap?
Another has a point.
We got Mr. Sam Octane bottom right and Mr. J Cap bottom left. I'm going to start with Cap. We talked about on the last episode. It wasn't last week. It was 2 weeks ago. We were talking about your thoughts about the Super Bowl and whether or not you were nervous or not. And you were shitting bricks, basically. I'll paraphrase.
I was.
I think now, subsequent post game, I'll give you the floor. I think that was probably one of the easiest Super Bowls you've ever watched.
Oh, I was still tweaking. No, I was up until. When do you guys think
Devonta
I
Smith
believed
catch.
we? What'd you say?
Devonta Smith catch.
Yes. Until the Devonta touchdown,
Game was over
I
right
was
there.
so like, holy shit, anything can happen.
Game was over right there.
It was almost worse because I was like, oh my god, now if we lose, like we're gonna be the biggest joke artists, like us and the Falcons.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. There was a point in the game where I actually felt bad for the Chiefs. It was the D-hop drop. I was like, dude.
Oh,
That was bad.
I was like, I couldn't see a defender in the frame. I was like, oh.
That was
man.
actually another moment where I was like, oh, like they're just
Yeah, they're breaking.
like if D-Hop of all people is not catching that ball,
Yeah,
like
breakers
this is
breaking.
just meant to be.
Yeah, I felt horrible.
Well,
Fuck the Chiefs, dude. Go Birds.
fuck the Chiefs.
Absolutely.
Birds win.
Absolutely.
I don't think you took the trade down and were climbing the poles on Broad Street, I assume.
I was not there. I was not. Little, I'm about a 2-hour drive, but I'm not going to go do that to grease up some poles.
The parade's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wait tomorrow's
That's
Friday. Yeah, they pushed
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's because of the weather, right? There's some storms to the northeast the last couple of days. I know that affected you, Sam. You didn't have power yesterday, right? We were supposed to do a
for
show
like 9
yesterday.
hours. Good time. I woke up. I started making breakfast. Mid-breakfast making sesh, my power went out and it didn't come back until like 2 o'clock.
That is real tough. Do you like have spoiled food in the fridge? Like was everything still
Nah, it
good?
wasn't bad. My chat called me a part-timer and they were cooking me and usual shit. Fuck you,
No
chat.
way Twitch chat would do that.
I know. Fuck you, chat.
Yeah, chat. Well, other than that, Sam, how you been?
Good. Playing ranked. Same old, bro. Day to day.
We're gonna get to ranked in a bit. Some new ranked stuff happened today. Shelly, I know you are a big puck fan, and this is like we haven't had this type of puck in a minute. Some best on international hockey. We've had what, like 10 years?
Yeah, it's been I think 8 years since we've seen something like this. So yeah, it's been pretty cool to see. Team USA, I got them winning it all. Don't sleep.
Ooh.
It's a
Are they
goal.
supposed to win it all or USA coping?
It's USA, Canada are like the tied to win it all. So I mean, take your pick between the two. It's just a goalie diff,
Yeah, it's a goalie
honestly.
diff.
So we're just gonna bank on that. Hellebuck's him. But yeah, I mean, in regards to sports, I mean, Cap, congratulations, bro. I know
Thank
you're
you.
probably
It was all me.
it was all
Say
you and Cooper
congrats to
Dejean.
Cap. It's fucking
No,
crazy.
I get it though. Well, I don't really get it because I'm a Raiders fan, but like I get what it. I mean, I don't think I'll ever see a Super Bowl in my entire life.
No bullshit. I was telling my chat I might die before I see one.
I don't think I will. As a Raiders fan, I legit with Pete Carroll now, like there's no future for us, man. I know it too.
You
and
don't
I'm
think
not gonna
Pete
say-
Carroll's the answer?
No, worst hire I think we've had we've had some bad hires too.
That's
But
a terrible hire.
You've
Pete
also
Carroll
gotten
should-
you've also gotten fucked. I mean, the Gruden thing was like he wasn't playing. It was not like you guys were playing that good, but that was just the whole end of the Commanders situation that spoiled into like your situation with some politics. That's all
Wait,
that
why
came
do you
out.
like Pete? I feel like Pete's not horrible. Like he's not exciting.
He's
Why
just
don't
a little,
you like
I mean,
Pete?
he his whole like thing is that he brings a winning culture, but like I think you should bring that culture to the retirement home, man. Like, it's just as fuck, bro. Like,
Raiders
No,
fan,
dude.
Raiders fan trying to be beggars and choosers. How's that work?
That's
you can't, dude. I went into
Okay.
one season. I went into one season with hope, and it was the year we got Devontae Adams and had Derek Carr, and we're like, "Oh, the Fresno State boys are back! Like, you guys aren't ready for this Raiders duo. It's better than Amari Cooper and
Josh
his
Jacobs, Max Crosby.
Oh
Max
yeah,
Crosby,
we had
Jesus
that was
Christ.
our best
Look at
season.
me, I
We
got
were-
hockey on my mind.
We ended
Derek
up,
Carr had like an MVP year way back.
yeah, way
Almost
back, and then he
MVP.
got hurt. That
I
season
wouldn't. He got hurt after that.
He got hurt
Yeah,
like
hurt
2
after
games
that.
before the playoffs in a meaningless game, and then we had
the worst.
Penn State Hackenberg, I think, start for us. So
Oh,
that was
that's
pretty dope.
terrible. That's terrible.
That's not ideal.
Now Derek Carr is trying to murder Chris Olave.
Yeah, no, it's tough
Oh, yeah,
out here.
It's
So,
tough. And Sam, I think you're not seeing a chip until Jerry Jones does at this point.
No, but see, the issue is that his son is just going to take over, and
Yeah, but his son will actually hire. See, his son will take
You don't know
over
that.
and
You
hire
don't.
actual people to make decisions. Like
don't
he'll
know.
hire an actual GM that will, run the team.
know,
So
bro.
Jerry from his yacht.
Maybe we just kidnap Howie and we'll just do it that way. I don't know.
Kidnap Howie. Yeah, you're gonna steal Howie from in division. Okay, that's still
Yeah, why
that
not?
is my delusional.
Isn't that?
Hey,
It's
say-
not
hey,
like,
Saquon
like how he
wins
has a
division,
choice.
Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, Howie's gonna leave the Eagles. Okay.
How much do GMs make in the NFL?
Howie's going to be the first GM to be inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Howie
was
Roseman's
thinking about that.
salary. I'm curious.
I don't think it's public, really. I think there's probably estimates, but like,
I don't know. Should go up because he's the greatest ever.
It's
He's
not
awesome.
Googling. It seems that
I'm not
top
telling you guys
GMs
you're gonna
make
sign
somewhere
Myles
between
Garrett. I said what?
I
3
don't
to
know how
6
we're the
million.
favorites that.
They make like 3 to 6 million. So good money.
3 to 6
It's not
mil.
bad.
Yeah,
Not bad.
this is
What
not
if-
public.
what if-
but-
What if someone just offered Howie like 20 million though?
That's what I'm saying. Like we got bread over it.
Like someone like
we got bread.
You got the
if an
most bread
owner
in
is serious
sports, to be
about
honest.
winning.
That's what I'm
These
saying.
billionaire owners, like multi-billionaire, like what's 20 million, dude?
Like we're not courting GM candidates. Like go get
You
Howie.
know?
Just throw him. Just throw him.
No, you're not getting GM candidates because Jerry wants to run the team. See, it's, like I said,
course.
not going to happen until Jerry is
course.
6 feet under. And with all respect to
My
Jerry,
God.
with all respect to
True.
Jerry, right? Because as much as
No
you want to
respect
punk
to
on
Jerry.
him for football decisions, he is part of some of the reason the NFL has gotten so big, like the business decisions they make.
Giving him no credit. Fuck that guy.
You know?
10 toes till it's fucking.
But like as far as
backwards.
running a team, like this Dak Prescott
Jerry
cap
Jones.
situation is not ideal.
Hey, we're close to a championship, bro. All right, man. Let's talk about God.
All right, let's talk about COD. We're gonna get into matches. This is honestly probably our best set of matches we might have in a minute. The schedule is really good, but I want to talk about a couple of issues, and I want to start out with the big one. If y'all, we didn't do a show the week before the major, but we have talked about the situation with Thieves and the stair glitch. We didn't talk about the Polex Minnesota ROKRR situation. That one was a little more low key because it happened in the C9 series, and then there was a reset in between that. But if y'all were watching AG's stream last night, Pred's stream last night, turns out Dan Ghosty hit the group text and asked, "Yo, what's our punishment?"
No one
Fucking
responded.
nothing. So I'm gonna start with you, Sam. The GA, this is exactly what we talked about with the GA chat, bro. One of them was blatant, like Paco's stair glitch is so blatant. The Hall situation is blatant, but neither of those teams got punished.
Yeah, just throw him out the window, bro. Who cares? I mean, pros are, bro. If you're not gonna punish somebody for blatantly stair glitching in like a 10-point game on land, then throw it out the window, dude. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how that wasn't priority number one when they got back. I guess the priority number one was the Jackal, but I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
There's just they're not being disincentivized to keep GAs like going at all doing that. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's
You
gonna
about
happen
this-
again.
Yeah,
And now it's gonna happen again. Someone's gonna be like, "Oh well, if Hydra can do it, why can't I do it?"
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, and then it's just this endless cycle of, "Oh well, this guy didn't get punished, so now you can't punish anybody."
Exactly.
It's a terrible system.
What do you think? What do you think's gotta happen, Charlie? You think the pros gotta take
what
control?
happened to Liddy being like this GA like
He hasn't done
chairman?
that in
And,
years,
He's
man.
burned out, bro. He's burned out.
bro, someone's got to be the new Liddy. Step up and take the reins of this GA chat. It's honestly, I don't know who it's gonna be. If you guys have any suggestions, like throw it out there.
I know who'll be.
I don't know the players well enough.
I know
don't
who's gonna
if
eventually
anyone-
crack.
I don't know if anyone has the passion to like the care to like have that sportsmanship. Like the level of sportsmanship feels like it's kind of gone out the window, and now you kind of see these scummy things more often.
I'm
Because
nominating
people-
someone.
You're
Yeah.
nominating someone?
Daniel Ghosty, GA commissioner. Let's get it done.
I mean, he's
Listen.
been the most vocal from the chat this year, I think, right?
Yeah, and I
He's the
think
one that talked about the Sib thing when he was
Yeah.
snaking, bringing up the LAT thing now.
And Dan was in my chat when we were having the GA commission kind of conversations in December. But the thing is even if Dan wants to do it, the other 11 teams got to be down to change the process. It's not just on one person. There's one person going to have to wrangle and drag everybody kicking and screaming in this thing that they actually have something they can fall back on. So I just don't. we all agree that this is just going to keep happening. We're going to keep talking about
dangerous
it.
precedent. This whole I know we're memeing because we're LAT fans, but it's a dangerous precedent that they just set with not punishing Paco for sure.
Yeah, no, that one's blatant. And Dan asked in the chat what her punishment is. It's not like Dan was dodging. He was trying to find out what they got.
If I'm being honest, I really think they probably just forgot about it, and they came back and started scrimming. It just wasn't at the front of everyone's mind because of the Jackal. That was probably what everyone was thinking about when they came back, and then it was like, oh shit, Paco Sturgich.
Dan brought it up though. It's like someone.
Yeah, but it matters when he brought it up. If it was yesterday.
Austin was in my chat and was saying that he brought it up multiple times in the GA chat. So I don't know if that's true or not. I believe Austin.
Chalk them. They're all morons. Then if they're not going to punish them, that's entirely on them. That's their fault. Hold that shit.
So I think we'll talk
they're
about
bringing it up and nothing's happening. That's on them, bro.
I don't know. It's going to keep happening, chat. We'll keep talking about red cards and yellow cards on the stream, but the 3-day bans, I think, or whatever. Speaking more of GAs, this happened just before we went live. I want to briefly chat about this. There was a quick update to ranked play. Now, if you haven't been here in a minute, you probably know that there's an ongoing conversation, GA conversation about the Jackal coming out of the major. Some people, AR is feeling the game is a little bit too sub-heavy. And they banned a bunch of stuff, and they very quickly have adjusted GAs. Subsequently, now that I don't know why my window capture is not working, but if you could see my window capture, you would see that the Jackal, all barrels, 11 gain twists, all muzzles, and all fire mods have been restricted now in ranked play. So, Chelly, your thoughts? Quick GA.
I don't know. I was watching Pred stream last night, and he was trolling a little bit and kind of baiting, saying the recoil's chalked and this, that, and the other thing. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I haven't played with it yet. Sam, you can maybe speak more on this. I know you were playing with it today. I made you play with no attachments at all on it, so you honestly probably have the best feel for it.
Sure.
But I don't know. I think the Jackal's still really freaking good.
Yeah,
and shout out Sam, the AR proppy. I mean, I guess if you just push
Stick
the
to your guns, Shelly, stand 10 toes, man.
Honestly,
you can get real
bro.
change in the world if you're just committed to it.
This is literally all because Sam didn't admit that the Amos was OP that one time on the watch party.
Amos is OP.
Yeah, he had to admit it after someone lost. I forget who it was. Someone lost.
Beans.
There you go. Beans lost a gunfight with the Jackal and to an Amos in close range. And Sam's like, if he loses this,
yeah, he was standing at the bottom of the zip and protocol cap in P4, and someone was holding the angle with a sub, and they were just standing there. And I said to Tom, if he loses this gunfight, I'll admit the AR is better. And Beans just slid out and shit on him.
Oh, I think I remember that gunfight.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the Jackal GA is dumb as fuck. It feels the same. They didn't accomplish anything, and it's also irrelevant because that has nothing to do with whether the Jackal is good or bad or not. It's entirely map dependent, how it was last year with ARs. It's the same as last year, in my opinion.
It just is what it is on these maps, bro.
The GA also confuses me because they took off long barrel, which is damage range, and they took off compensator, which is recoil, and then they put gain twist on, which is bullet velocity, and recoil springs, which is recoil. So I guess that the damage range, I guess, is the idea that they were going for, to not have map situations where you're squaring up across the map or at medium range, whatever. But the gun doesn't feel as good, but at the same time, you're still going to use the gun in the situations you were prior. It didn't change anything. Which if that's what they were going for, that they just want the gun to feel a little bit worse, then I think that's mission accomplished. But in terms of seeing 7 or 8 of them on a map at any given time, that doesn't change anything.
Baze is still pulling out 4 in Hossy, bro.
Yeah, you're still going to use it on Haas. You're still going to use it on Vault P1. You're still going to use it on Protocol P4. That didn't change anything because of the maps.
So
I don't know what the objective was of the GA. If it was to reduce the damage range and just keep the guns somewhat similar, then I think mission accomplished on that regard.
Well, we'll talk about it on the flank tonight, and I'm sure we'll get some pros in the mix for that conversation, and maybe we can find out what their thought process was, because I don't quite know what it is. But I want to move on. You know what we do? Every week we talk about the matches, and we try to give you guys an insight as to who we think is going to win. I know a lot of you out here also are of the gambling variety, so we try to also give you guys an insight on maybe players to focus on that we're going to fade or focus on. So we're going to go day by day. We're going to start with Friday, then we'll go Saturday, then we'll go Sunday. And we don't generally do the matches, review them in order. We kind of do it on the matches we want to talk about. So here we go. We have a great set this week, chat. And I'm going to start with Friday. We got Thieves in Carolina, right off the rip, banger. Boston and Vegas, probably not. But Atlanta, FaZe, and Vancouver will have a new team change. We'll get to that in a minute. But I want to start with Thieves in Carolina. This is probably the match of Friday. Both teams finished top 4 at Major 1, with Carolina getting 4th and Thieves being the runner up. Gonna start with you, Cap. I think when these teams played winners round 1 at the event, it went the distance. But that was also when Reese was still really dealing with his eye issues on day 1. You think Carolina's got a chance in this one? Do you think Thieves now with that momentum from the runners up are just going to kind of run the table now and cruise that, kind of Saturday, Sunday kind of matchup against the top squads?
No, I mean, Carolina's definitely got a chance. I think they showed they're legit at the event, even though they lost LAT, but like making that run with Reese with the bad eye and how many losers matches was it? Like 4 losers matches, I think they won in a row.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, that's an impressive run. So I don't know. I mean, I still think Thieves will probably win it. I think they're still a better team at the end of the day, but Carolina, I definitely believe, is in that second tier of teams. I think they've proved that.
It was 3 losers bracket wins. They lost to Miami in the 4th one.
Yeah.
Sam, what are your thoughts?
I could not believe they lost to Miami, for what it's worth.
As a refresher,
Relevant.
and again, Reese was obviously dealing with eye issues, but Carolina got 100-point clubbed in the first 2 hard points on Hossie and Skyline series. The control went to round 5 and the S&D went to round 10. So 2 hard points were the difference there. You think it's going to be a little bit closer? Maybe this is more of a game 5 angle, maybe different maps? What do you think?
I mean, in terms of maps, I don't really know because the philosophy for teams is always different online, I feel like, in these matches. But outcome, I still think, is LAT probably like 3-1 if I had to pick. But I'm happy with Carolina's tournament. I think they played really well. But I think LAT, after getting second, after struggling in the online qualifiers to show up and get second, I feel like that confidence is definitely going to be there. Plus, they got a little bit of time under their belt to try to adjust playstyle wise with like the more subs and faster pace. So I think LAT is going to probably continue to look good throughout the qualifiers if I had to guess. But I think Carolina's also been great. I don't think if they lose the series, I'm going to change my opinion on them at all.
Shelly, you agree? And also, player to watch, you think you're going to be focusing on those map ones?
Yeah, I think I have Ravens winning this. I think the search and destroy diff. I think the search and destroy diff is a little glaring in this series. Also, it's going to be interesting. I'm targeting Gwyn here. All right. He didn't have the greatest land performance, obviously. Back online. Is Gwyn an onliner? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. That's been confirmed by now. Give me Gwyn online.
God damn.
I think he's going to. Yeah. I mean, dude, this is the thing. Like, Tej and him kind of like swapped how they were playing online versus
Right
land.
take. Someone had that take. I don't remember.
I don't know
who
who it was. It was
somebody had that take last week. I don't remember who it was.
Might no ball might have made that take. But no, I mean, and then we had Liddy and Vivid kind of flip roles. Slasher playing the slower AR, and Reese kind of speeding his gameplay up. Which, why the hell did they not do that to start the season? No idea. But
I don't think it was a choice. I think it was more of just like a learning how to
think
play
it just
the game
happened.
thing. It comes with pace comes with experience and understanding what's going on. You can't play quick automatically without running it the fuck down. You know?
You also like that first LAN event. Like, there's just so much like on the fly tinkering that you got to do over the course of that weekend because it's the first time you're on it. I listen. I don't disagree with your thought, Shelly. I think the search is. I can pull up the S&D stats again. Like, weirdly enough, the way this stage played out, they almost have like somewhat identical stats. The only difference is that Carolina just doesn't troll as many rounds where they're up, and they win a few more extra rounds where they're 3v4. They're just better in the situationals, but they still both teams, weirdly enough, that struggle with getting first bloods. So like there is a path forward for here because in a couple of these S&Ds recently with Carolina, especially the major, they were going down to 304 and counter adjusting, going to plan B and really kind of feeling it out and going from there. But it's not going to take too much for a team to just come out with a better game plan with them, and they're just not able to adjust. And for Thieves, I think that starts and finishes with Paco really getting more confidence in search.
That's kind of all I care about for these qualifiers for them, I think. It's just like noticing an improvement in search. I think like maintaining control form for LAT is also hyper important because I'm always going to have faith in their hard point. Even if they're looking shaky in the mode, I'm just going to trust for them to show up on lane and play really well in that. But as long as they stay good at control, and if they bump their search, that's really all I care about if I'm a fan of theirs right now.
I think the search thing is if they don't want to play protocol, because when they don't play protocol S&D, they got to get better vault.
Yeah,
it's very simple because you're going to get one of them in the series. Skyline, still don't like their Skyline, but some of that is on again the Paco. That's the biggest map that shows the Paco Envoy role issue, but the vault square ups that they've had against these better teams have not gone their way. And Optic with AG back, and we'll get to that. They're going to probably be big vault fans still. So I think it'll be a chance, but I got Thieves. So I think we could talk about Boston, Vegas last. But let's talk about the other team that's making a roster change, Vancouver. So unfortunate for Vancouver that their first match is against ATL. But as we expected, Charlie Hicksey with his poor Major 1 performance, individually, although the team in general didn't play good, he's been rotated out, and Neptune is coming in. I'm going to start with you, Shelly. Do you think this Neptune ad for Charlie is going to make a massive difference for this team, or do you think it's a negligible, just kind of gets him off the bottom of the league now and more into that like top 6 kind of contention?
Dude, honestly, I've been trying to keep up a lot with challengers, and Neptune seemed like the clear choice. I know a lot of people are gonna argue, why don't you just pick up Kyler? I don't know if Kyler would have made the most sense here. So I'm honestly excited for this Neptune pickup. Do I think it's gonna get them over the hump? No, I don't.
What we consider the hump, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The hump is, what, top 5, right? Don't we say like that?
Like top 6 consistently.
So, yeah, so I don't think this is gonna make them better at respawn. Hicksey, you guys might not,
he's good at search.
Yeah, exactly. This is a huge loss for them on the S&D side of things. 04 obviously.
He's also bomb carrier, which was big.
Yeah,
bomb carrier. So Nep's gonna have to run bomb probably because 04 is not just gonna randomly start carrying bomb. So yeah, I mean, I don't think this gets them over the hump. I think this makes them a better HP team and a worse S&D team. If 04 can step it up on the S&D side of things where he's been disappointing, then I think this team can be consistently top 5. But if they don't step it up on search, it's now losing Hicksey, this is going to be, a consistent middle of the pack team below middle. So
I just want to circle back. Why don't you think Kyler is a good fit for this team? He was with the squad last year, and they had some okay places, not amazing places, but okay, better than dead last.
I mean, who's going to be the vocal leader if Kyler does come on the team and becomes that leader? I mean, we've been saying that he's kind of been making some not the most knowledgeable plays on the map. Do you really want Kyler, being that vocal leader again? He was last year, and we saw what that team kind of turned into with just, W key head banging every hill. So I don't think that bringing in Kyler is going to, be the solution to their problem. I think bringing Nep, maybe Nep has some league experience, but I don't know. I just don't think it's the best fit for Kyler. Maybe, Serge wanted him and they wanted to bring him on, but if I'm Kyler, I'm probably saying, nah, I'm probably waiting.
So I agree with that part. Like, there's a possibility that maybe they thought about Kyler and turned him down, or they just didn't want to recircle the issues. But I mean, Sam, what do you think? I mean, I think the Nep thing is still just taking some version of Kyler's playstyles, and Nep's kind of a room slayer.
Yeah, it's kind of like we have Kyler at home for sure. The S&D, I will agree with Shelly. I think Charlie was actually pretty good at the mode, and I think him being a bomb carrier was also extremely important. That's like an underrated thing in search for a lot of teams. That's a big adjustment if your bomb carrier changes. In Hardpoint, I think that they'll be better. I'm not sure how Nep was playing in Challengers. Truth be told, I don't keep up with it even a little bit. So I've heard great things. I've heard Tyler Fellow, gassing the shit out of me, played with him in Challengers. He's obviously been playing good enough to get an eye for the league spot, but I'm still looking at Abuza, dude. I'm still looking for him. I understand they made a change. We're looking at Nep further to step up on the team, but I'm still looking for Abuza to play well. He's been underwhelming for me since the start of the year. They just seem to have a mental, the way that they play and the way that they played on LAN. Yeah. You don't get to have one. That's just not how it works. You're just not a good Call of Duty team right now. You don't get to play excuses for where you're playing from and all that shit. So I think the whole team needs to step up. I liked what I saw from 04 in search specifically. He was like back to 10 per. It seemed like he was kind of how he was playing last year, which was great to see. But they do lose a little bit in search, but the respawn is where I need to see this team step up because they looked absolutely lost for the entirety of stage 1. So I'm looking for Abuza, and obviously we'll see how Net plays.
Well, they're back on that ping cheese, so get ready for the
Bro, online COD is the most fair it's ever been in the league, or probably ever will be. It's been like that for years. It's the same way. It's the most fair that it's going to get.
They're just in an extreme corner. Florida teams, but we don't get a lot of Pacific Northwest COD players, but
what server will Vancouver use in their matches?
They play on Denver and LA a lot.
Yeah.
It's on
So,
LA against Texas teams.
so Cap, if you're
100%.
the coach of this team, and Abuz has been tweeting weird stuff all year, and he got in the tiff with Ronnie with the leak, like, what are you trying to do to try and this guy? This is incident number 3 or 4 now, where he seems like he's not locked in and in his head a little bit. Like, what are you trying to do to get him to be the player he was last year?
I'm not so concerned about the tweet you're showing. That's kind of just like,
Yeah,
I don't really know what his issue is with it, but that's kind of whatever. But like I think it's been multiple times now bitching about Vancouver. That's got to stop because
yeah,
I like, to Sam's point, I do think online COD is as fair as it's going to get, but I do still think it's like Vancouver's tough. I will say, like, that can't be easy. Even being with the LA team the past few years, like, we had our server issues throughout the years. But Vancouver, I could imagine, is the same, but like, at the end of the day, bro, nobody cares about your excuses. Like, you either win or you lose. You got to make it work. If you can find a way with the league to make it more fair, that's something you got to take up with the league and figure it out there. I think the Neptune pickup will help them, though. I just think Pixie, we said a million times, Pixie wasn't cutting it. I think Neptune, I mean, this is kind of his last chance. Got to be, like, as a COD player, like, hey, you've been touted as this raw, talented kid, like, what, 2-3 different times now? Like, you got to come in, have the right mental, because I believe, like, when you are talented, if you underperform, it's like purely mental. It's not like you just forget
lost
how
all
to
the
shoot.
talent.
Yeah. So I think it's purely mental thing. I think if he figures it out and does reach, this potential somewhat, I think it will help this team a lot. Just getting more kills on the map will open up a lot for the other 3.
He was in a tough situation. The last pro team he was on was that New York Subliners, Krim, Clay, internal beef. Like, that was, he obviously wasn't playing that good and was probably getting his confidence killed by those guys a little bit, but like, and he wasn't able to fight through it. But I agree with you. This is like a little bit more of a laid back team. He can really step into a featured role. As far as search goes, like, he's a good search player. He should fit in nicely. I'm not really worried about the bomb carrying because I think between him, 04 and Abuza, like, it is an overrated thing in COD about having a specific player carry a bomb. Having a dedicated bomb carrier is actually a problem.
I think it's overrated if you like the way that you're team to team. Like, if FaZe, everybody can carry a bomb and do it well. You know what I mean? But with Surge, I feel like when you have people that make dedicated plays, like, imagine if like Tyler Beasy was the only player on FaZe that could make a play in Search. Like, then you get to that point on Seattle where it's like the only person I trust in Search wholeheartedly on this team is 04.
Yeah.
And Charlie was just dedicated bomb carrier, and he was also making plays, and he was good. Whereas like now, you kind of have to just, I don't know if make Nep do it again, but you can't give it to 04. Abuza just plays islands every single fucking round, and Nasty watches pinch. Like, you have to drastically switch up the way that you're playing your offenses if you're Seattle, if you want someone else to carry bomb, is my point. Because they just play so separate, and 04 is the really only proactive search player that they have outside of Nep now. But that's why, that was more so I was
I mean, Seattle also, Vancouver also played, the predominant S&D map they play was Red Card, which honestly, if you look at their team comp, just did not fit their team at all. I mean, to be a good Red Card team, you need that dominant lockdown AR, like, middle map, and you need an aggressive sub player who can be most likely, usually most teams put their aggressive sub player solo B on defense, and then on offense, like, you need your subs to be able to like push those ARs back A, like pushing to P2 and get picks and create space.
Charlie was doing, bro, running with that A-bomb and playing that bitch.
The issue is Charlie Hicksy's, can't shoot it with a sub on Red Card, and now you got him pulling out an Ames, which just, wasn't as good as a gun. So,
do we think there's any world where Vancouver get an upset against FaZe, or we think this is like a 3-1?
Absolutely not 3-0. 3-0.
All right. Well, I'm curious with the Nep lines. I'm looking it up right now. What is Neptune's?
It's actually pretty high.
Line.
It's like he's literally like getting the Kyler line. It's like 55.5 for 1 through 3. So it's a lot of kills against the Tiny Terrors, in my opinion.
I still don't know if FaZe's gonna blow him out though. FaZe first match, last match of a stage is always a little. It's
this could be a map pool. This could be a map pool series.
Yeah,
could be a Vault Hardpoint in here somewhere.
Yeah, they need to play, dude. FaZe need to play Vault Hardpoint and get hill time and get on the fucking hill.
Well, the funny thing about the hill time situation is like that one. The one situation was a weird one because I think MC was weak and didn't want to dive the hill.
Come defend them, Ben. It's okay.
No, I know, but then like he should have tried to dive anyway. But that's what happens. They have weird communication problems on P2s all the time on MF phase, and they got to get better at it because they are pretty good at the other hills for the most part. Like their P1s are pretty good, their P3s and P4s can be pretty decent, but they're a terrible P2 team. And I agree. They add Vol Hardpoint to the bag.
Team on that fucking map.
Bro, they add Vol Hardpoint in the bag. Like their map pool and Hardpoint is going to be real tough. So
Unreal. Yeah, it'll be unreal.
So I agree. They got to get more reps on that. Let's move on. We got Boston, Vegas, and once again, the Vegas Cats are making another roster change.
Let's go.
I believe the lineup now is
the Cold War JCap start.
King, Dahum,
Listen,
Exid,
when you
and
know it's not working, you gotta take some
blow
chances,
it. Just
bro.
blow it, dude.
Gotta take some chances. Like,
yeah, Sam. What do you think?
Was it
what do you
Dahum for
think,
Wixel, right?
I
I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't know because the series that I saw Wixel play, that guy was probably the slowest player I've ever seen in my life. He had like a flashy scoreboard at the end of the game because he had a 10 kill streak on a P4 vault, but like that guy was moving nowhere, doing nothing proactive. So maybe their philosophy is that that's like good thing almost because like maybe Clay or whoever is driving the changes feel that they were moving too much, or if the map was a little bit too chaotic. So if they wanted some sort of, calm factor on their team, I could see the logic for the change. But I feel like in this game, you just can't do that, which sucks because, when you're playing as chaotic as you are, you have to in this game to win or play well. It kind of goes against you when you're also trying to learn how to play the game. But I think when you have players like that on your team, it makes playing Respawn in this game super difficult. So it could be a good change for them just in terms of a little bit more stability on knowing where everyone's going to be and a heavy rotator kind of guy. But from what I saw, granted, it's a one series sample size. I was pretty underwhelmed by his performance. So, we'll see how he plays now, but I don't know.
I want to hear Cap's thoughts real quick. Like as a coach, Clayster here, like obviously tough situation. It's like probably nothing like anything you've been in personally, Cap. But is Clay just kind of is he throwing darts like Sam said, or what's going on here with this?
I think in the situation they're in, he kind of is because, I think we all know like point of the season that between the starting roster they had, then 4 subs, it's like got 8 guys. Not all 8 are going to be CDL caliber. Most likely, who knows? Maybe they were, but here's now they're not. So now it's at a point where it's like, okay, which ones are good enough to stick, and then which ones, at least for this year, are the right complementary pieces to get the most out of this year. Because I'm a big believer that when you have a new team and new players, it's not all going to come together right away, but you'll see glimpses like in that first week or two of like the ceiling of that team and that player. And then it's a matter of, getting on the same page, making it consistent and doing that every time. You'll see those glimpses early on. If you don't see the glimpses, then it's pretty fucking shocked. So I guess, he's not seeing what he wants to see. And, Clay's legendary COD player. So I trust his eye for talent and like teamwork and comms. And well, I don't know if he understands all the comms, but regardless, teamwork on the map and the pacing. So if he's not seeing it, man, I fully support that kind of coaching style where, listen, got to make some moves because the org, like this is what I went through in Cold War with LAT, like Sam said, like the org expects to win and compete. And if you're not doing it, something's got to happen. Something's got to change.
I talked to Clay Sunday at the major. And I think the takeaway from the conversation, I think it's understandable, is that these guys obviously, played in a region where it's 6v6 S&D for a very long time. And they only started playing Respawn a couple of years ago. And developmentally, like I'm talking communication, understanding of Respawn, like understanding base Respawn systems, like playing straight up, like these guys are 10 years behind. And they're being put in a position where they got to very quickly catch up in that 10 year of just even the basic challengers players level of knowledge on how to be a top level teammate and how to play. And it's tough. And I think that this, what they're in for this year is to evaluate which one of these guys can really stick to that grind. I just think the net of it is that the best version of this team that they will probably build is not going to be 4 Saudi players. And at some point, they're going to have a conversation of what anchor NA or EU players do we think can pair with these guys personality-wise, communication-wise, and help get the extra mile for these guys to be competitive. Other than that, at this moment, they're just fucking throwing darts at dartboard trying to find their first series win. So
I want to ask you guys the question that I asked the flank a little while ago, mainly Chelly and Cap, because Ben knows.
yeah,
If you guys are trying to build regional stability or regional fans, right? Think of Miami, or Falcons in this case. Do you think it is more important to have regional players or org success?
I think I think I said this a while ago in here, but I think you get the 1 or 2 players from your region, and then you find people from a different region.
yeah.
I mean, unless you can find 4 from your region to compete, but most likely you're going to find 1 or 2, and then you got to pair them with other people.
Because I asked that question because if you look at other examples in other esports, like we'll use Falcons in all of them. Falcons in Rocket League is an all MENA team. They're one of the best teams in the world. They're contending for finals every single tournament that they show up to. MENA's huge in Rocket League. If you look at Call of Duty, the fucking Falcons is just Biffle's team. They're the fucking greatest. Like, is it more important for Biffle's team to win everything under the Falcons banner, or is it more important for Falcons to field MENA players that are also good? You know
I mean, if you can buy the best players.
oh, of course.
I mean, if you can buy
but-
Biffle, yeah. Like if you can buy Shotzi, sure, Falcons do that. But
yeah.
I don't know, you know.
That's what I'm saying, because the whole point of the question is, like, I think this year is just a wash in general, because they're going to get to the end of it, realize that they're so far behind, and if they want to have any sort of success in the CDL, they're just going to draft a full North American team or keep like fucking
Nah,
Xnid.
That's what I was going to say. I think Xnid is the one guy so far who, I mean, we'll see how the year plays out, but like at least for next year, most likely is like, okay, he can be
Yeah.
the face.
That's what I hope happens, is that they have some sort of hybrid at the end. Because like I like that Miami has stuck to their guns, because that's just what they want to do, and they got third doing it. It took them a little while, but like I feel like if they just took a different route or a different approach and just bite the bullet and just be an NA team, keep, like release Real and Rancor this season, for example, and just like get 2 more good NA players. I feel like that's almost just better in every way than having like a gimmick.
I think you need
100% agree.
So having talked to a lot of people about that situation, they want to use, in particular, the COD, because they're in a bunch of other titles and games, and they have different approaches in those games. With respect to COD, what they're trying to do is really find a couple of anchors in region guys and use that to really build like a robust, hey, for people like who love COD in SA, in MENA, like there's a path to get in and play the top guys, because right now it doesn't really exist for them. You got to move to Europe, you got to move to NA, and really make a name for yourself. I think the best version of their team is going to be a mixed team. I just think the full regional thing is really tough. You see it in CS. CS is a great example. There was a time period where the full regional team thing really worked in an individual country, and then for a long time it didn't. And now finally in CS, it's starting to pay off again, but it swings back and forth depending on the meta and other factors. I think for Falcons, the key thing that they're going to need to figure out long term is what NA or EU players who are not on the downswing of their career, right, who are not on the twilight of their career, who are on an upward trajectory, can come into this situation and provide a lot of the intangibles, the leadership, and things required to develop these guys and make them overperform their potential. That's going to be very tough, because I just think recruiting a player for that is going to be very, very tricky.
Cash, which
I don't think you're going to find a player to do that.
It's tough. This is a fellow situation almost, I think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe fellow. I think it's going to be most likely, though, just 4 young guys. You got to figure it out together.
Yeah.
Because
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, let me give you an example right now. LAG mates, like the way they rally behind Linz, like all the French fans. I feel like we could see something happen with Falcons where maybe King is frying, and they keep King on, and they bring on somebody else, and Falcons orgs.
Great example, Chelly.
Yeah, we're having that right now. Like Ben's bringing on CS. We don't have to bring CS into this. It's happening right now in the Call of Duty League with Linz, and the way that the green suits are rallying behind, Keys me. Like, dude, they're showing the love to the non-French guys too. It's just, if they see that happen there, maybe Falcons will be a little bit more motivated to see some success in the org and have a guy like King and build around him. So I'd be excited to see that. I really am high on this Falcons team, and I might be kind of faded for this. I think King's gross. I think Xnid's a shooter. I think if Kicks was on this roster with Dahum, this team could legit win. I'm pushing this
Listen
proppy
to him,
until I
man.
get that
What?
roster.
Winning what?
What
What are they
what are
winning?
they gonna win?
A series.
They're winning a
Oh,
series.
okay.
Because here's the
A
issue, Charlie. No one doubts that these guys aren't
Yes,
capable.
they do, Ben. Yes, they doubt.
It's me.
Everyone
I'm
doubts.
guys doubting.
It's-
Hey,
it-
down here.
These guys
It's me,
have
guys
these guys
doubting.
have some level of gunning. It's just like, and Sam and Cap, you can speak to this. There's a certain level of attention to detail, especially in communication and situations required to like actually close out maps against pro teams. It's not like people in challengers don't shoot straight, but they make the wrong decisions in the middle of a map against a pro team, and that's why they're losing 250, 150 in our point.
Falcons might go winless.
Damn.
But there are challengers teams that beat pro teams every single day.
They're worse
in
than
Respawn.
challenger teams.
That's fucked.
Yeah,
I mean, they are.
But it's true. No, it's true. I know
Objectively
it's
true.
But it's just fucked. I feel
Yeah,
bad because
I think
It's
they
fine.
have
Trying to
a
put
real
together-
I think they could Shanghai Shark it. I really do.
It's
Or
I'm
possible.
trying to
Excuse
put
me.
together a real team right now that could
Think they could do
compete in challengers, and then and when they can compete in challengers, they could also steal a respawn and steal a series from a team like Vancouver Surge or
Damn,
LA.
my bad, Surge.
Well, I don't want to spend more time on Falcons. I was talking to Clay. There's a couple of new things they're going to also try to split. They're just trying to develop these guys, and we'll see if it pays off. They can win a hard point, win a series. Don't think it's going to happen here with Boston. Although Boston, I want to move on to Saturday's matches and like now actually have a conversation about Boston. This matchup with LAG is like a very weird matchup because both these teams got dead last, and both these teams should probably be playing. LAG should probably be playing better than they did last split. Boston was playing good online, faltered last week, and then pulled up to the event. They got a tough draw against FaZe, but they could have beaten C9. Losing 2 searches at C9 is unacceptable. So I want to start with you, Sam. Like, is this a must win for both teams? Like, what is your assessment of this matchup at the moment?
I would call it a must-win series for LAG because I think they're in the Kyler lottery at the moment. I also think that their team, they are of the mindset, we talked about it last episode, but they're of the mindset if they were better at search, they would just be a better team because they're about 50-50 in respawn, if I remember correctly.
Positive in respawn. Still can't.
Were they
13 and
13 and 12, right?
Yeah.
I remember right.
So if they're a better search team, that's their philosophy. They would have objectively more series wins. So if they come out and if Boston beats them handedly, or if Boston just still wins the searches and LAG gets like a random like 3-1 respawns, I think it's worrying. But for both teams, I think this is a must win. I know Boston had a great online split, but you just got dead last again. Your ARs are on a downtrend heavily. Snoopy's been playing out of his mind, and Purge is just a pretty serviceable player, in my opinion. I think he's been just mid-pack, not great, not horrible. He's actually been objectively a little bit better, but yeah, I think this is a must-win series for both, truly, because I think both of these teams could be in contention for a roster change.
Jelly and Cap, which one want to go first to address that? Agree, disagree?
Go ahead, Cap.
I'll go first. I definitely think LAG is a must-win for them because I don't know. I think that team, they have expectations being, having the resumes that they all do. And I think if I remember last episode, like they have a really hard second half of this stage. So if you start slow this stage, you're looking at like a
LAG or Boston?
I think LAG, if I remember right. I think their second half is tough.
LAG's second half after the online tournament is Cloud9, Vegas, Atlanta FaZe, OpTic Texas. So yeah, that is pretty hard.
Pretty
And
tough. I don't know. Go ahead.
Boston's is also tough because Boston's is Thieves, FaZe, Miami.
Oh, that's very tough.
So both of these teams,
So this is a must-win.
yeah.
Yeah, probably must win for both. Both kind of on this downward trend, and it's like, hey, if you don't start hot, panic sets in sooner than later because that champs race gets clearer and clearer every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, these
Don't
are the
fall
teams
behind.
like these are the series where you're judging how good or bad your team is as well. Because like LAG is not going to say how good or bad of a team they have against FaZe. They're going to do it against Boston, who is like more close to them. So
Yeah.
if they lose their searches to Boston again and like a dirty Neslo, LAG's looking around like, what the fuck?
Sam, you're saying LAG's in the Kyler lottery or the Hook lottery. What?
Mhm.
Who would he come in and whose spot would he
I think
take?
it would have to be a roll swap. Okay, so I mean, do you want to talk about the Kyler thing now, Ben, or do you want to wait for their series?
I'll give some intel. I don't know if any person on that team right now is a secure spot. I think they're, from what I hear, like practice is not going that good. I don't think anyone on the team right now is safe. I know you're probably talking about the Caesar and the role swap thing, but
Well, it could be anybody.
It could be literally
Is not
anybody. I
safe?
think
Kids not being safe is crazy, by the way. But
Kids should be safe.
I agree.
Lynn should
he should be safe. I agree.
probably be
as well.
safe.
He should be as well. Their subs have been good. The reason that I think about this team being in the running for Kyler, if you go through the whole league, Kyler's not getting on FaZe, LAT, Optic, Carolina, Miami, Falcons, C9's in the running, but we won't count them. He's probably not going to get on Boston.
Why are we not counting C9?
Because I'm saying the teams that he can't get on. So there leaves a couple teams left.
I
You
think,
have
I think
LAG.
C9.
Why can't he get on
No,
C9?
I'm saying he can't
No,
get on C9.
he
I'm
didn't
saying
put
he can.
C9 in
Okay,
there.
okay.
So he's not. The only available teams that he can get on right now are C9 and LAG. He can't get on. He's not going to get on Vancouver, obviously with a new change. He's not going to get on Minnesota ROKRR because they're not changing. Boston don't need subs. His only choices are C9 or LAG right now.
Not a great selection.
It's
Not
C9.
a great selection at all. So
It's C9.
Kyler's just in a weird spot where he had a great tournament and a great online qualifier, but he's in a spot where he's a sub player. Those players or those teams don't need a sub unless barring a role change, and most of the teams aren't making changes anyway. Even if he was objectively great, like teams just don't want to make changes for whatever reason. But now it's going to be a weird spot where, say, LAG or C9 start 0-2 going into the qualifier, they get bounced.
Yeah.
They get no points for champs. They're 0-2 in the qualifier. They have a bad second half. Then they go hit up Kyler, and it's like, fuck me, dude.
Well, it's why I said a lot of people on Reddit and Twitter and on this platform, why it's crazy that Kyler hasn't been picked up. And I'm sitting here like, if I'm
only has two
Kyler,
spots
why
he
am I
could go.
rushing into a team situation?
Yeah.
I need to make the right call, or I'm gonna be fucking miserable for 4 months on a chalk team because it's not like the best options are out there. So
Yeah. It's just hard being a sub right now in free agency because every team needs better AR players.
yeah, so I don't know. I think for Kyler, he should stay patient, but yeah, I agree. For both teams, I think this is a must win. I mean, LAG have just been disappointing. Boston, again, I agree with you, Sam. I'm a little concerned about the AR situation on that team. I think neither AR has played that good down the stretch here, and so only
Here's
one
my,
that. Go ahead.
real quick, Benji, for the Boston prediction. We got Boston Fellow. It's happening.
You think so?
Yeah, that's my prediction.
Bro, you want to
I
know
don't hate
where I
that.
want Fellow to go that would fucking hit
Yeah,
Minnesota?
I agree with that too.
I
I
don't
think
know.
Fellow on Minnesota, dude.
I think that would be.
I think that is his best spot possible. It's a good search team. He's obviously a great search player. He brings the leadership. He brings the consistency on land for the most part. Like, I think Minnesota Fellow is good prop. Not that I'm not wishing him Paul's downfall or anything like that. I hope Paul continues to play well because he played well at the event. But if I'm Fellow, that's where I want to go.
Yeah,
Nah,
for sure.
dude. I think if Boston lose this LAG series and start to kind of downward spiral, I really think Boston Fellows is a
Boston's
serious
not bad,
option.
too.
they're both
Boston's- I think Boston's a
decent
good spot
options
for him.
for a fellow.
Yeah,
He actually
I
is a
agree.
very tricky choice. It's like I think the overall talent in Minnesota is probably better, but Boston might have the higher ceiling player of both teams.
Snoopy.
Yeah, so it's like
I
that's
think
actually
Nero's up there, bro.
I think Fellow played with Snoopy and Challenger some years back.
I think he did
I'm sure
play
he
with
did.
Snoopy,
Yeah.
and
I
I
think he
think
was
he
on
also
Boston
played
Academy
with
at some point.
Purge. Yeah, I think he also played with
so
Purge.
I don't know.
Why does Fellow got to start in challengers, bro? You know he's just going to take
Yeah,
someone's
he's taking
job.
someone's fucking spot.
Fuck me.
Oh, we'll see. That could be a
That's
second.
Pick him up.
That could be a second
I'm a
week thing.
big T-Fell fan, man. Great
T-Fell
kid.
Enterprises guy.
But I want
Fuck you,
to.
you're
I want to
off.
pivot, boys.
God damn it.
I want to pivot, and I want to talk about the match of the weekend. We have not seen a FaZe Optic Classic in a minute, and we're going to get one. It's going to be the third match.
We're not getting one.
You think?
Oh,
Okay, we'll
man.
get there in a
Optic-
second. We'll
sorry,
get,
Optic
chill.
fans.
We'll get there in a second. This is the 6 o'clock match, East Coast time, on Saturday, and the big news coming into this one is obviously Kyler being dropped for Pred. I don't think any of us saw that coming, at least now.
Nope.
So I'll start with you, Sam. I don't think we talked about it in the last episode.
No, I think it came out literally after we
Literally
finished
after we
recording
did
or
it. So I
something.
want to get quick thoughts on that and whether or not you think Optic, with little practice, have a chance in this series.
I think they have no chance, barring honeymooning the absolute fuck out of them, which I'm not going to say is an impossibility because it always is with the talent on the team. But FaZe just won an event. Optics off of a roster change. Their search and destroy is going to be completely different now.
Yeah.
AG has to learn the system in which they're playing. Granted, he's familiar with it, but he still has to learn how to play the game and where he needs to go and when. I think FaZe just handily win the series. I'm not saying it's an impossibility for Optic to honeymoon the shit out of them, but objectively speaking, you just can't pick them to win this series. They're just in a lose-lose because they're supposed to lose the series. If they lose the series, the fans are just going to hard tweak, and everyone's going to be miserable. You would like wholeheartedly, if there's any optic people, players, coaches, whatever, watching this, bro, uninstall legitimately everything on your phone. Do not open any form of social media until you know that you can open it and get dope. That's what it is. I'm so serious.
You think
Don't go on
fans are
Twitter.
really gonna tweak that? Unless they get 3 of 20-minute
Don't go on
smokes.
Reddit. Don't go on fucking YouTube comment section.
I absolutely think they're gonna.
Don't go anywhere. Just grind, scrim, play your matches until you know that you can open up that app and get some dope. You just don't. Just
I
look
think,
at it.
Bro, I don't know
I think
if
if they
Don't look at
play phase close, at least it's like, all right, we'll be all like most their fans will be like, it's all right, like needs more time. But like, if they do get smoked here, 3-0, 3-1 with some blowout maps, it might be some panic. Like, oh my god, it won't even be
insane to
Fred
say.
they're mad at. It'll just be Kenny they're mad at. So
It'll be Ken. Yeah.
So
be
you
more
guys
mad at
probably
Ken.
agree that the blowout angle is if, and you've probably been in teams like this, you go into this series and it means too much to you because you already got the honeymoon. You know, AG wants to bowl out. These guys also did not have a plus matchup against FaZe last season. FaZe had their number. So there's that element of like first series together in a while. We're too frantic. We're making too many mistakes. And FaZe are pretty good at exploiting that. And then historically in this matchup last year, weirdly the game mode people may not realize was control. FaZe won all but one control that they played in like 7 matchups last year, and that ended up being the difference on the number.
Well,
of
they just
series
map pool fucked them for the entire season until Optic eventually learned how to play high res.
Yeah, but they
That's
still
all it
can. They
was.
still can beat them in high res.
Yeah, no, they were struggling.
Yeah,
But like when
they
they did
got-
beat
they
them,
got
is when
really
they finally
serviceable.
learned how to play high res.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But yeah,
So, Charlie,
they
what do
go
you
back
think?
and forth on who gets shit on.
It's just crazy because FaZe are playing the 2 teams that made roster changes in their first 2 matches of the weekend, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
And it sucks because Vancouver gets to play kind of with, I think, more freedom, like stress-free, not as stress-free, but like obviously there's a lot of pressure, but there's way more pressure on this Optic team to perform, obviously with a controversial, move on Hook. And then now we have Kenny, who I feel like everybody's got this microscope on because I don't know why they have this microscope on Kenny. I think he's been, obviously, the numbers aren't great or where they have been in the past, but the microscope's on Kenny when I think it needs to be on the rest of the team.
agreed.
Because Kenny's, obviously their IGL and he does a ton of things that don't show on the numbers. But there's way too much pressure for this Optic team going into a game 1 of a qualifier after a roster change. It's honestly this series. I'm so hyped for this series. I think FaZe stomp them. But I would love to be wrong.
FaZe Jelly.
I don't think FaZe's gonna stop them, but it'll be a close
FaZe
3-1.
Jelly,
But just to like elaborate on what Chelly's saying, like I don't think you're saying that Ken. I think you probably agree that Ken's got to play better, right? Like he's got to play a slightly better.
Yeah, objectively, of course. Yeah.
But you look at these land numbers, like
He had a better
supposed
event than he was playing
superstars.
online.
Supposed superstars pulled this event and dropped a 0.95 and a 0.9.
Yeah.
So,
Bro, everybody has to play better on their team.
Yeah.
Like Ken, obviously people are going to harp on it because he didn't have a great online stage either, and Brandon and Shotzi both did, but their whole team has to play good. That's just what it is. They all have to step up.
can I go off a minor in my chat saying because he's been dog water and try to scapegoat Kyler on stream? I watched Ken stream, and that is not what Ken said.
I can't believe that's the
I
narrative.
don't know why
that people
everybody
took
keeps.
away from that.
I'll watch the full stream, bro. Ken
can't believe
very
it.
much took responsibility for individually. He's got to play better. Okay.
I cannot believe that.
But I will say this, and we have talked about this for fucking years with Kyler. He is a very talented player. His play style is what we at times call a roaming slayer. And
That's
the thing with the
generous.
roaming slayer play style is that it is very chaotic.
What do you want to call him, Cap?
Yeah.
Roaming. He just I don't know. He doesn't like stick to the game plan.
Yeah.
Doesn't stick
doesn't.
to a team's game plan. He kind of just does whatever happens to come to his mind. Like I don't know. It is hard to play in those situations as one of his teammates.
It's hard to
Agreed.
play against, but also hard to play on his team because everything becomes chaotic and the timings get messed up. And what you need from a roaming slayer like that is to make more consistent plays and communicate those plays so that the rest of your teammates can block the right spawns behind you, fill the right lanes, and try and make things a lot more predictable. And I think in some of the clips that Ken showed, I'm not surprised that he tweaked because there are a number of situations where unfortunately Kyler was the one kind of making stuff chaotic. So I think the move, I think we all agree. No one in the chat disagrees. For competitive reasons, we understand why they did the swap, right?
Yeah, it's just a comfortability thing. They just feel like they would be a better team with AG. That's the answer at the end of the day. That's all it is. Even if Kyler played well, for whatever reason, they think that they will be better with AG.
To that
We just
point, though,
gotta accept it.
they clearly feel like Kyler was
Making the
like I
game
was
hard.
saying, like making their lives harder.
Making
Yeah,
the game
like
hard. Yeah.
just kind of doing rogue shit on the map, not sticking to their game plan. And then when you do that, especially at a tournament, that's when it comes to light on your teammates. Like, holy shit! Like, are we really gonna do this all year, or are we just gonna go back to Pred, who we just won champs with a few months ago?
The thing about Ken that, like, again, I cannot believe that people really took away from that stream that all he did was go live and shit on Kyler. Ken, I teamed with him for 3 years, cap coached him for the same amount of time. Like, he's an objective person. He understands when he's playing good and playing poorly. He knows he's not playing well, but he understands what plays are losing maps, and he is well aware that he didn't get a kill for 16 lives in a row. Everybody fucking is. It's just he's just an objective person. But when he goes live to like break down VOD as a professional player of your favorite team, he goes into a VOD and breaks down the reasonings in which they lost to a public setting, and the fact that people then twisted that on him to then say that he's a piece of shit teammate, and that like I cannot believe the gall of people watching that stream that turned it into that. He's breaking it down hill by hill by hill on the comms, like what was supposed to happen and why, what happened and why, and then people turned it on him being an asshole. Like I watched the whole stream too. I couldn't believe my fucking eyes. Even if Kyler's making bad plays, objectively, he's making bad plays. Whoever it was, their whole team was playing like shit. That's just what it was. But obviously, I'm a Kenny Glazer. But like, I cannot
Optic's
believe
been doing
that
this
is how that went. That is
Bro.
fucking insane.
Sam, they've been doing this since the Karma. They've been doing this since forever.
It's crazy.
They were doing this to Damon back in the day. In Black Ops 3, when that guy was winning them maps in the fucking last 2 minutes with plays, even though sometimes he was inconsistent with slaying. Like, yeah, Ken's got to play better individually.
Of course, yes, he has to play better. His numbers have to look better than they do. But like, their whole team has to just be better. That's it. That's all it is.
While we're on this topic, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think this was a unanimous decision in the Optic camp?
Yes.
Yes.
Guarantee it was. No one is being a dictator in that camp saying we're going to make a change, and everyone's like, "What?"
I don't
every
think
team changes unit is.
I couldn't imagine there was a world where it was like 2-1 player wise, and they're like the two of them are just like fuck it. Like, and I don't even know, like knowing their personality, I don't even know which two that would be.
Yeah.
Then to the other one, we're like, no, you just gotta fucking deal with it. Like, there's no way Kenny and Dashy just went to Shotzi. Like, no shot. Like, and you just gotta do what the fuck we say. Like, we're picking Pred back up. Like, it was definitely all three players on the same page.
I think Formal made a little bit of a. I don't think it was intentional on his end because this all started because if you watch the clip, I don't think it comes across well. He's clearly joking in the clip, like because he's imitating the way that Brandon.
Wait, what clip are you talking about?
The clip where the Warlord clip where he's talking about I had a conversation with Brandon about the team change thing, and I don't think people, if you watch the clip, like knowing the personalities, Formal's joking,
shit, like fucking shots he dropped him or something.
Yeah, but like I don't think people can tell from the tone that he's saying a joke that Brandon told him back to him. And I don't think that it comes across on that clip. And I think the problem is that in that mistranslation, again, I don't think this is intentional at Formal. I just think it played weird on social as all.
I need to see I was about to say I need to see this clip. I don't know. Cap,
I can pull it up if you guys want to watch it.
I did not see it.
Yeah, let me pull it up. If you guys go to my stream in a second, I'll have it up.
I think I saw the Reddit thread with like the title of Formal saying something, but I didn't watch it.
Okay, I have it here. If you go to my stream, I'm going to play it, and you guys can watch it and be the judge of what you think.
Yeah, the Pred back thing is crazy, dude. I remember being at Content like 2 days ago, and when I was talking to Brandon, he was saying that like Pred texted Shotzi after they lost or whatever, and I was like, "Are you guys gonna join again?" He was like, "I don't know." I think his words were, "Shotzi runs this shit. I don't really know." I think it was Shotzi's choice. It is cool that he's back though.
Obvious fucking trolly Matt shit.
Yeah, it's the most
heard.
Trolly Matt and Brandon shit I've ever heard. Like,
people
I just
took
think
that seriously.
No, the people did, and that's why I think it all snowballed. That's why I think Ant said something and then Ken said something because it just got too. We live in a clip world, bro. Like stuff just gets momentum. I don't think Matt was and Brandon were being that serious in his clip. But the problem is,
you can literally hear it the way that he says it. He's like, yeah, I don't know, Brandon runs that shit.
bro,
Like,
you
what?
scroll this Reddit thread that it's in chat. If you go on to Reddit, and I'll put the link in Twitch chat, bro. Like, people didn't take this as a joke. It was actually hilarious. Anyway, so
Whatever.
it is what it is. I think this will be a fun matchup. Maybe in the future, maybe not this one. I think FaZe's map pool is too deep, and it's just tough for me to see how OpTic's going to beat them on Hossie. FaZe won't play them on hard point. Red cards are going to be really tough for OpTic. I think we'll see a better matchup with this probably at Major 2, but for now, not so much. I want to move on to the other two matchups on Saturday. I'm going to start with C9 in Toronto. Low key, this one now, maybe before the Major, I wouldn't have been too excited for this one, but
Still not.
you're still not excited for this one?
Still not. Toronto 3-0.
Really? Why do you think Toronto 3-0?
I think Toronto, I don't know if I've said it on the show, I think Toronto's just subliners from last year. I think they're better than everybody else, barring probably Ravens. I still pick Toronto against Miami.
Great take.
I'm picking Toronto over everybody comfortably in the league that's not FaZe OpTic or LA2.
You guys
I think
agree?
they're just better teams.
It's a good
I think they're dominant in search against the shitter teams. I think they have enough firepower and respawn with Toby and Joe and Beads to just out talent people.
I agree, but also disagree because I do think that ROKRR and Toronto are on that same subliners level from last year. So
I don't think ROKRR is.
ROKRR's
Really?
on subliners level. From last
I'm not
year?
putting- I'm not putting
I'm
ROKRR
really
with-
high on the. I'm
not
really high
putting
on this
them.
ROKRR team though. I am really high on this ROKRR.
Yeah, but they
I
don't have.
like
They
their
can't
team, but
finish
they
like
don't.
that.
They can't.
subliner team.
They're not definitive against the teams that they like
Yeah.
are in their region. Whereas Toronto had an undefeated online stage until the OpTic map.
They played nobody.
No. That's my point, though. That's my point is that they played those teams and they shit on all of them. That's my point. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that Toronto's going to go out and beat Ravens 3-0 or beat FaZe. I'm saying they're going to go out and handle everybody else that they should because they did and they have.
Who does ROKRR not handle? That's below. That's
They went game
quote,
5 of the whole league, Joe.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
go game 5 all
Bro,
the
that was
time.
the first. I mean, I'm at this point after the major. I think that they've.
The Rock, the
I don't know,
only
They
good
played well.
team.
I'm not disagreeing that they're not a good team. I'm just saying Toronto, I trust to beat the teams that they're supposed to many more times than ROKRR.
So ROKRR hasn't played
I
OpTic
think it's
yet.
close.
They haven't played. They played Thieves once. And they lost in fourth. They lost twice to FaZe. Once in game 5. Once in game 4. And they beat Toronto and lost to Toronto. Both in game 5s. I think like the issue with ROKRR and why I wouldn't put them in that category just yet, and why the fellow pickup for Paul might work is because they need to figure out how to finish. They need to figure out how to be dominant. There's a world where that trio of Geo, Estriel, and Nero with the right AR can really realize their potential. For now, they're just
They have the hardest split by far.
yeah,
right?
their split is crazy, but
They play like all of the top 6 teams in the league for their qualifier. I'm pretty
So
sure
we're not
it's
even
like
gonna get to
it's
test
crazy.
that take.
Exactly.
Well, hold on, we
They're
can talk
not
about
gonna
that.
Be able to, like they are going to be in some gruelers this split if they're
Yeah,
going to be
But
close.
what's I want to get. We're talking about Miami, Minnesota in a second. You guys all agree with Sam? C9 Toronto to Toronto 3-0? Because I don't know if I agree.
I mean 3-0-3-1.
I think it'd be a
I
don't
3-2.
know.
We've seen Toronto toss series like this. They go up 2-0 and they almost as a reverse sweep, or they go down 0-2 and they reverse sweep. Recently, they've been kind of on the Thieves all the last year level about that, just because of control.
I don't have any confidence picking a map count. I think Toronto's going to win. I think D9 needs to show something. I think Dylan Attach needs to show something. Dylan, I love you, but fucking hell, brother.
Might be getting late
Yes.
early out
It's
here.
a fast game. It's a fast.
Might
game.
be getting late early out here. Quote Yogi Berra, bro.
Dill said, or Cap said, Dill needs to stop looking walls like 4 episodes ago, and here we are. Dill,
Dude,
you're
the
pissed,
first
brother.
Episode,
He's
the
been
first
pissed.
episode, Cap said that.
It's
his
past few
boy,
years, he's
bro.
been licking walls, and this year so far, he hasn't stopped. And they like
That tongue is just stuck to it. Man.
Yeah, they
Fuck.
I think
frozen pole.
Like
Put his
icy
thumb
pole,
on the,
dude.
on-
Fuck.
yeah,
yeah.
that's
C9
it, and he's stuck there.
C9. We'll talk more about them in a second. They have another matchup against Vancouver on Sunday. And then
Wait,
we
yeah,
have more
Benji,
C9
we're
coming.
gonna talk about Dante frying on land, and then if he goes back to online and plays like Cheeks, or we're gonna have a conversation that he might need to be. I don't know. Is his role in question? Like, I think that might be a conversation we actually have to have if he goes back to online and isn't shooting well.
Could we potentially?
insane
Could we
that
save that
matters
for the
that much now.
Can we come back to that for the Vancouver thing in
Sure.
like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I want to talk about Miami, Minnesota, because I want to pick up that Minnesota conversation again, because this is a banger theoretically on paper. Miami coming off of a top 3. I don't think any of us expected Miami to get
I have them
third.
making a super roster change.
Yeah, we
prior to
thought
the
we
event.
thought it was shocked, and they got their best placing ever as a team. So shout out to them. But can they keep that going? And then we can pick up the Minnesota thing. Like, who do you guys got? This is a game 5 heater. We trust Minnesota because maybe their search is better, but I don't know who to pick in this one.
I'm keen on a 5. I don't know
Picking
who the fuck's gonna win
Minnesota.
it.
Minnesota in 4.
The only
There you go,
problem,
Cap.
the only problem, Minnesota. I'm gonna give you
Hey,
guys a
picking map
stat.
counts. Minnesota in 4.
Minnesota. Let me pull up their actual map so you guys can see this too. While I do this little spiel. Minnesota's map pool is weird, especially in Hardpoint. Because search, they have some bread and butters in search, although Vault and Halcyon, that's great. Hardpoint 5-0 in Vault Hardpoint. Okay. But on the other two maps, they're combined 6 and 15. And they have a problem that we've seen with a bunch of teams over the years where they have one bread and butter hardpoint, and they need to find 2 and maybe a 3 to really get that 3-0-3-1 into play. Otherwise, they're splitting hardpoints. They're a 50-50 control team and just coming down to game 5 ice, which is not always what you want as a team.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? This team should be good at red card on paper.
They're not bad at it. They've had a couple of tough L's.
Yeah,
Like the LAT one was tough when they got that spawn out on the end of P3. Dill got a blessed spawn for stage hill and just won in the game with it.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of maps throughout stage 1 where their red cards looked like winnable and they kind of just got hoed or fucked up like 1 hill at the end.
250-243 against C9.
Yeah, they've had a couple. Like I think that's their record probably isn't great on it, but I feel like they play the map not terribly for the most part.
Yeah.
But I agree on like protocol.
I think coming off that tournament, though, Miami's in a dangerous situation in the sense that I believe they drastically overperformed. I don't think they're going to sniff a top 3 again. I don't think on that roster, I don't think Lucky and Metals, like we were talking about the region rosters earlier, that whole idea, like I don't think Lucky and Metals are the guys they need. Like I think Real and Rancor might be a good 2, but for that team to be consistently like in that top half of teams, I don't think Lucky and Metals are those 2 guys. So I think coming off a top 3, you're in this dangerous spot where like you come back, you start practicing, maybe you're losing maps. I don't know these guys personally, but in the history of COD, what happens a lot of times is you come back after an event like that and you start just making these online excuses for yourself. Practice gets very sloppy very quickly. And then before you know it, you're underperforming in matches. And sometimes like it happens so quick you don't even realize it, and it's too late to like make up that practice time. And like I said, I think that was that team's ceiling. So we'll see. I just think it's very dangerous right now if they come back with the mindset like oh, we accomplished something great, getting 3rd place. Like we're on top of the world. If they do think like that, like I think they could be heading down a slippery slope.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I will say I'm pretty high on Lucky. I think he's been very solid for them so far this season. But the whole I don't know if I'm saying it right. Super. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. But
Super, bro.
Super, bro. Don't overthink it, Shelly. Don't overthink it, brother.
The little,
He's super.
Spanish twang on it.
Yeah.
But I think if he comes in for medals, I don't know, Cap. I don't have you actually. Do you actually think Lucky needs to be replaced? I don't know.
I think Lucky had a good event, but for years now, Lucky's been in the league, and I just
Spanish nasty.
Spanish nasty is crazy.
Wow.
That's fucking
Interesting
crazy.
I don't think he's like a difference maker. Like I think he's someone like he's just like kind of average, or slightly below average. It's like maybe you take a risk on someone else, try to upgrade there.
Maybe, but Metals is also hella inconsistent too. And
So I
think,
said those. I don't.
1.3 series out of him. Fuck
Both of them. I
here's
think
my,
both of them like aren't the right 2 for Real and Rancor. I think Real and Rancor have a higher ceiling than those 2, and it's worth maybe not. I mean, not right now because they just got 3rd. You're not going to do it right now, but at some point, I think this team's ceiling is Real Rancor and 2 other guys.
So-
Super NA players, EU players. I don't know.
yeah, I think a mixed team might be the best version of this team in the future, most consistent. Here are some things why I'm fading Miami in this stage. Control. They're only good at Vault 0-7 on the other 2 maps.
Wow.
Kind of nuts. The S&D we talked about in the beginning of the stage, they got back to being like kind of a quasi 500 team in S&D, but against good teams they just get blown out in search. So they're not a good search team. And what's keeping them alive in the series is they are actually a pretty good hardpoint team. Like they've got a diversity of different maps that they'll play. Like their ROKRR hardpoint's very good. Their Hossie hardpoint's actually pretty good. Their Skyline is definitely winnable against teams. Their Vault at times we saw them be optic on Vault. Like it is doable in hardpoint. But bro, even at the event, I was watching them play and like every map feels losable to me when I watch them play. Like they're like not capable of like that dominant 10-minute, 8-minute performance of a map and really like blowing teams out. They like play 3 or 4 good minutes. They make a mistake. They are one of the worst teams at letting those mistakes snowball. And
Dude,
they sometimes clutch up and sometimes don't.
There's always one player on Miami who is just selling. Like double net. There's
We
always
could also be
one-
talking about like 9 teams in the league right
Yeah.
now
I
too.
guess, but
100%. A lot of teams have this
always
problem.
I always notice it, I guess, with Miami because it's either Metals going double neg or Rancor's getting absolutely shit on or Real's having a really bad map. Like they always have someone who is just like getting hork slammed in the games that they lose. In the games that they win, everyone's playing really well. I'm sure the comms are flowing. Like I'm sure the vibes are really, energy's great. I don't know, Sam. Like, am I faded?
No,
with this?
you're not wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I notice it for sure though.
The blender of this game, man. Timings
Yeah.
are off. You're running, dying, fucking. It's just how it is. I don't know. I feel like, again, like this is a problem that Miami has, but this is also a problem that a lot of teams have. It just comes with inconsistency in general. But I think I agree with Cap just for general sentiment on Miami. I think they overperformed. I'm not calling them a bad team because I do want to give them their flowers. Getting third in today's CDL is fucking crazy. So I will give them their flowers on that regard. But they have expectations of me, I think, to put them top 6. I think I'm okay with that. Just in the area of top 6 every event, just like Saturday Gruelers is kind of where I want to see this team. I think they hit their ceiling at third for sure, just off of pure eye test from the ass slapping that LAT gave them. They've had the problem with this region thing of when they run into the top teams in the league, they just get talent diffed in hardpoint. It's happened for both seasons now at this point.
Yeah.
It happened last year every single time, barring like random upsets here and there. But I mean, when you watch them play hardpoint against FaZe, Optic, whoever, like it tends to go that way. So I don't think that barring 40 and 20 from Real to beat Optic on Vault, I don't see this team overcoming that hurdle mostly. And again, that's not to say that they can't consistently beat, Vancouver, Boston, whoever, but being Saturday consistent, I just don't have, or Sunday, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't even know how to tackle picks on this one. We'll probably talk about it like Saturday morning, but it's just Miami, Minnesota is. It could be a gruely it could be an over series if you want to play it that way.
100%, especially like with the control. I don't think either of these teams are going to close out of control. Nobody's been able to between these two. I don't think I would honestly take a 1 through 3 more than for
I
sure.
think it's gonna be Hossie because ROKRR play a lot of protocol. They'll probably veto it, and then Miami are obviously undefeated on Vault, so I think we're going
I'll be
Hossie.
like, play me on another map and show me you can get a dub.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Sunday slate. Vegas Falcons, Thieves will probably get to that last boring match. Carolina, Toronto, Vancouver, Cloud9, Optic, Minnesota. Which do y'all want to talk about first?
Carolina, Toronto's a banger.
Banger.
Carolina got 2 good series.
Carolina, 2 good series. A weird team right now because we talked about the S&D thing earlier. They're going down in maps and they're regaining. These teams did play actually, I believe.
We talk about those betting odds.
Yeah, is that kind of
When did they add those? I don't even know when
House
they added
bets
those.
is just
the pick 'em? That
they're just robbing people minus 122 and minus 114.
well, it could have
Oh,
moved.
dude,
I mean, it could move. It could move based on
Both
action.
mine, and usually if they're both mines, it's minus 110 though. They're just robbing people blind. Their
not
profit
great.
margins are insane.
Nah.
It's not great.
Yeah, I don't know how Housebet does their stuff, and obviously we don't know where these lines opened at. But this being a pick'em doesn't surprise me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
that's not crazy to me. I believe these teams played at the major. Carolina eliminated Toronto. Carolina went up 2-0 in the series. They took a game
Right back
round
real quick.
11 on red card. Then Toronto battled back, won a control, won out close off the R point, and then Carolina beat them on an S&D protocol, which is kind of the MO for Toronto going to the event. Like they were such a good protocol team, but they couldn't take a search protocol against Carolina. They couldn't take a search protocol against FaZe, and that protocol weakness probably hurt them a little bit against these top teams because they don't want to play protocol R point against either of those squads either. So you think I think we probably get a same thing about the map pool. It's probably the same. I don't see why we wouldn't get double vault. And I don't see why Toronto's going to play them on protocol hardpoint. So unless Carolina makes different picks, like it's a run back on the set.
It's got to be a map 5, right?
I think it's a map 5. I think things I'm tracking with both teams. One is it's Carolina can continue this thing where Reese is pulling out a sub. He's hitting pace, and this is just a change they made at the major, and they keep it going and get more consistent. And Cap, I know you coached him. I'm curious your thoughts. Joe Thieves, interesting stage 1 from him, like just super hot, super cold sometimes. You see the potential in search. The takeover's there. He gets those insane pieces and respawn, but he also disappears for 3 maps in a series. Like,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
I mean, that's been his thing for a while. He is truly an unbelievable talent. I mean, people think I'm crazy when I say that, but if you just watch Joe's POV, he is as talented as almost anyone in the league. But I don't know. And he's not as consistent as you want him to be. And you know, we've told him last year, like I don't know what exactly goes wrong, but like if he can figure that out, he can truly be a top player.
You have a theory on it or no?
Not really. I mean, especially last year, he came a long way last year from where he started the season to where he ended. Like he got so much better by the end of the year. So I don't know how he is now compared to even last. Like I'm sure it's a lot different. You know, he matured a lot last year, got a lot better, more consistent. Now it's just I don't know where he is now.
They also the tough thing for Toronto, and I'm not calling schedule cheese, but the schedule they had for the Major 1 qualifier didn't give them a lot of top level tests, other than playing FaZe in the first week of the season when they were asked, and then playing Optic at the last week of Major 1. Like they didn't get enough checkpoints, I think, in the middle of that stage to really probably like know the exact things they got to work on. And it was just too late by the time they got to the event to really identify the protocol issue in particular or something they need to clean up. Like, are you guys all have faith probably in Toronto reflecting after this major? They've got a split where they play C9 Carolina first week, Boston Thieves, and then Vegas Optic Vancouver. Like, that is still another schedule that I feel like they should get 5 wins, no? At least?
Yeah, I mean, Sam said earlier, I think they still just have the talent to just get by and respawn against almost everyone, well, outside the top teams, but almost everyone else. Their S&D is good. I want to see Jamie play a little quicker. He's like, I feel like he started slow when he came into the league, and I feel like he's gotten slower.
He's been the same player for 5 years.
I feel like for this team, though, to really find their consistency and respawn, I think he's got to pick up the pace a bit.
Agreed. I think having a player like that is just not a viable option in Black Ops 6.
I think it's very detrimental. I think way too many ARs are way too slow.
Yeah,
Put their teammates in some situations. My bad.
No, you're good. I think I just saw him say something in like a post-match interview or something where he's like, "I just need to keep you know, making the rows and not taking the gunfights, and my teammates are frying." It's like I don't even know if that's how this game play.
It seems like he's auto like passing the baton. Like he's just accepting that. Like he doesn't have the responsibility to. Not that I'm saying that he thinks this, but he's playing like he doesn't have the responsibility to play well, which is fucking like you don't get that luxury. Like I was hard on Cell for years, and I'm about to be the same way on Jamie. Like you cannot play like that and have high level success. I know that he's a tournament winner most of the time, but I feel like he has really low valleys. And when you're playing that slow, especially because we've seen him play like that, Major 1 last year, the end of last year, he picked it up a little bit at the Major this year as well, Major 1, but we've seen flashes of him just taking over, playing with full confidence. And I know it's in his bag because I've seen him do it, but he has these moments where he'll go 17-17 with a minute 45, and he's just on the map. I don't know what it is. I played against him for years. They used to beat us 3v4 in MW2 because Toby and Scrap would both have 40, and he'd be 15-15 with 2 minutes on a Mercado hardpoint. Happened all the time. I've seen I've seen Jamie play out of his mind with pace and confidence and chows. I know he can do it. I just don't know why he doesn't. Like, obviously, you can't pick and choose when to do it, but it needs to happen more frequently for sure.
There's a couple maps where he has no choice but to play a little bit faster. Like on Vault, he's been like keeping up with the kill pacing.
Inside also, sorry. I know we use names a lot. We're talking about Inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the maps where he literally can't play like that. Like he keeps pace and he shoots. So it's definitely not a skill issue. So
No, it's not, because it's in his bag. He's done it.
Yeah, 100%.
I've watched him be a 1.4 in these series.
Was he gross in Cold War? Like,
Yeah, he was insane.
disgusting Cold War. Like, I want to see Cold War insight. I want to see him putting up 30 kills. I want to see him moving quickly and still doing that role where we're rotating early and just frying from top art and vault maybe or whatever it is.
It's so weird because like they're probably one of the best. Talking to people, a lot of people think they're probably one of the best, if not best, like Skyline Hardpoint team. Which you would think for
Toby or Joe.
yes, you're saying, but you would think for Jamie, but like he's still, even if he's still dealing with the mix on that map, like he's still getting like it's not like they're winning the maps 3v4 consistently. To be
You want to know
4-1
why
on that.
though? Because that map forces you to do it.
Or does he
You
get the
don't
mix?
get, you don't get to pick and choose your fights on that map. You just, if you're up, it's your turn to slide, man.
It's your turn to get in there and get the trade,
It's your
brother.
turn to get the fuck in there.
Go
and
up
get
the
my
stairs to
trade.
P2 and shoot back.
That's
Bro,
what
I'm
it
looking
is.
at
Actually,
I'm looking at the betting doc that shows, like, Ben, you linked it to us a long time ago. I've had it open,
Yeah.
and I think it's a little flawed because it does. I don't think it counts maps 4s and 5s here, but the 1 to 3
it should.
map 1 to 3 averages.
For her.
Jamie has 49 kills on average maps 1 to 3. Beans has 54. Phoenix has 63. And Joe has 61. So Jamie, like, that is a lot less kills than your
I'd be
teammate.
curious on the damage more, to be honest with you, because Beans is
he's-
close, but I can almost guarantee you his damage is not.
His damage is
with Jamie.
AK.
He has 1,000 more damage
Yeah.
maps 1 to 3 than Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beans got the most damage on the team maps 1 to 3.
Actually,
Jamie
this-
has
this-
Shooting his weapon.
by far the least. So that's just like when you have that low of a number. Like I said, I don't think this specific stat line that counts maps 4 and 5, so I don't know how that changed, but that's very low. And you're putting a lot of pressure on your teammates to like not just perform, but overperform.
Overperform.
Yeah.
So I want to see more Jamie. And I think then Toronto has a high ceiling, but it's a concern for sure.
Desire. If I'm a Toronto fan, I want to see continuation in search. I think they've been the top end of the league in search, but I want to see their hard point more proactive. I want to see more plays. I want to see rotations. I want to see set stuff from them in hard point specifically for the stage, because they didn't get, to Ben's point, great tests in stage 1. I need to see more in stage 2 for hard point specifically.
They are one
And I
of the
want to see the
worst
S&D be good.
rotation percentage teams in the league, but they're also one of the highest hold percentage and break percentage. So they are really good at breaking hills in the first 20 seconds. You know what teams
You're
it
not
becomes
breaking
impossible.
consistently against Optic and FaZe.
Yeah, I was about to say these
NLAT.
3 teams are really good at holding hills on top of also rotating. Like if you're not playing ahead of the game, it's going to snowball and get out of hand. And just to be clear down the damage thing, Jamie's actual average across all the series is 6,775 1 through 3. It's not AK, so it's about 6 3/4.
I thought you were talking about Beans being it because Beans is 77.
Yeah. I asked about Beans.
Ben's is 7.7.
You know what you're getting from him. I like
Yeah.
Beans.
So I think Ben's been pretty good this game. People are
Agreed.
concerned about the space
I
of Ben,
agree.
but I think Ben's been fine. I
And he's
think
been pulling out the sub, which I love.
yeah, Jamie steps up. They get a little more consistency from Joe. They are potentially a
Still
team
high
that
on
can
them.
take scalps to the top, but
Yeah, I'm still high on him.
there's a world where they're just this year's fucking
MW2
Vancouver.
subliners, man.
They're just
Or
no,
MW3
they're just
subliners, excuse me.
or they're last year's Vancouver, bro. They're just they're good, but they're not great. So, let's move on. We got 3 other series to talk about. I think quickly we can talk about Vegas Thieves. I mean, we all think
What do you
this
want
is
to talk about, bro?
20-second 3-0, right?
Yeah, 3-0.
It's hard when you're not scrimming. Gotta stir it, bro. Gotta stir it.
Yeah, there was
Dude,
some
you're an
back
idiot.
and forth on Twitter about and on stream about people knowing this Falcons. Like I said, this thing's gonna get resolved, bro. There's back and forth. Teams don't want to scrim them.
I think that Scrappy clip was kind of taken out of context. I don't think Lucky meant it in the way that Scrap portrayed him saying that. I think their coaches said something
Yeah, Method
on
6
Twitter
did a
today
whole
about it.
thing.
Was it Method 6? That's not
Yeah.
Well, it was like we didn't not scrim Miami when they joined the league, and we all had to do that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Like you guys can definitely speak on it more, Cap and Sam, because
Bear back, guys.
you know the scrim grind. But is not playing one team really that important to your time? And like,
It's important to theirs.
So like you think it's justified that they're not scrimming them? Like just one less series
No,
on
I
the
don't
day?
think it's justified at all. I think everyone should play everybody equally. But the thing is, when you're bad, you play bad teams. Bro, when I was on Seattle, I played Vegas and London every day. Those were my scrims because I was on a bad team. Every now and then I'd get 7-0'd by FaZe as like a formality, like, hey, we're still here kind of thing. But like, that's just what it was, bro. When the top teams don't want to scrim you because you're a bad fucking team, it's not just because it's Vegas. It's just that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
The top teams view it as bad practice, and they would rather play teams of their caliber that they know they can be tested on their true concepts of how to play the game. Whereas if you play Falcons in your LAT, you're just going to talent gap them. You're not learning anything. You're not taking anything away from it. But you still need to do it out of competitive sportsmanship. That's just what the fuck it is. It's the CDL.
And you get paid a full-time job to do
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
You,
When
you
you're a bad
end
team,
up
you play bad
playing.
teams.
You end up playing every team, but the top teams are going to play the top teams.
Yeah.
More often. You
Yeah.
know, it's not going to be a dead even split. It's just the way it is.
So we'll see. I mean, there's a hot 3-0, and I think the Vegas scrims thing will eventually come to a big enough hit. It'll get resolved. But let's move on. We got two other really good games on Sunday. I want to start with the OpTic Minnesota match. Probably expecting OpTic to come off a loss. Not really sure in that Minnesota coin flip against Miami. But I think considering those results, potentially 0-2 start for Minnesota, this might be a must win for them. What do you think, Shelly?
I mean, you know I'm high on these Minnesota Cats, so shout out Cats. Adding that to my terminology as well. Been trying to mix that in.
Good job. You used it great there,
Minnesota
sir.
Cats.
These Minnesota Cats. No, I don't know, man. This is tough. I want to see how OpTic obviously play against FaZe. And people are gonna say I'm faded in chat, but this is a map 5, 100% map 5. We know ROKRR loves it. And I just think that with Pred being added to their search, I think ROKRR have the ice in this one. Give me ROKRR.
I like that, Shelly. Against the grain. I like that. Question
gonna
for
get
the
roasted.
panel. When do you guys start to value how OpTic is playing? Like how many series are you giving it to where your alarms start to go off if they're going game 5 with like ROKRR?
These
Two.
first two series.
Do you think like if they go 5 with ROKRR, are you like, oh shit?
No, I think the first two series are kind of like, all right,
So
whatever
by the
happens,
minor,
happens.
You're expecting them
Yeah.
to be like, all right. let's get
After
the ball
that, if
rolling.
you're struggling, it's a real red flag.
I was just curious. That's where I was. I was at the minor. I think like once you get to the minor, that's kind of where I need you to be playing well.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 weekends before the minor, right?
Yeah, 2 matches.
Yeah. So I want to see the next weekend. I want to see them look solid before the minor. I want 2 shaky weekends in a row, then going into the minor and just be like, oh, no, they're fine. I think that's kind of delusional at that point. Coping. If it comes to that.
I think I agree with Shelly though. I don't know if I want to pick ROKRR to win the series. I still think OpTic could potentially win, but I think this could go 5. I wouldn't be shocked if it does.
Yeah, I could see a game 5 for sure. I agree
Do you
with
guys think OpTic has that mindset? It's like, okay, all we got to do is make winners at our own land. And as long as we're in winners at our own land, we have a shot to win it all. We know the home crowd cheese is real. You know what I mean?
That's always the thought though. You always want to have winners.
Yeah.
I know it's the home event and that's like they've made finals of every home event they've ever hosted, but that's just the mindset for every team. Starting
if they don't-
fucking blows.
If they don't make winners, then that's a very,
I
very
think
concerning situation.
My point is like beyond like having a really, really outstanding stage and like winning all their matches. Do you think in the back of their mind they're like, okay, we're probably going to lose one to FaZe, and then this ROKRR series could get really
Let
mixed?
me look at their schedule.
I'll read your schedule. They just got to make winners bracket, bro. I think.
No,
they
100%. But my point is with that mindset, like, does that kind of,
they're gonna
like,
I think it has to do better than just make winners bracket.
Well, so this schedule is hard
I agree.
though. They have a lot of tests.
If
This
if
schedule.
OpTic gets 7th or 8th place, that's a disaster.
They're in a lose-lose for me right now. I think I said it last episode, but
Yeah.
they're on mine qualifier. It doesn't matter. If they do bad, it's bad. But if they do good, it also doesn't matter.
Let me read to you this qualifier stage. You got FaZe in Minnesota week 1, Carolina week 2, the minor, which are on FaZe's side of the bracket, I believe. They have Vegas, and then they would play Toronto.
Yeah, Vegas Bucks.
And they play Toronto, and then they play
fucking
FaZe.
hard one.
Yeah. Then they have Miami and Toronto that week after. So it might be an instant rematch with Toronto. And then Thieves and LAG. A Like that's what I'm saying. Like
Yo, their qualifier
it's hard. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they go
bro.
4,
That's
if they
what
go
I'm
4-3, me on my end, like I just knowing. Here's the key thing with them. I know AG is talented. We all know he's talented. He just won champs. He won both events last year. We know that his play style at times can be a little bit inconsistent with the speed element of it. And I think him not playing or not really probably learning the game as quick, not being in pro scrims for a month and a half, 2 months, is going to like create a time where he's probably got to like really catch up, especially on maps like Hacienda, which is going to need to be a bread and butter for this team against some of these teams that I just listed. So like, I won't be surprised if the best version of Optic is not until the beginning of March. Like, I won't be surprised if they pull up to the minor and they get top 8 and it's
Then
close
what
series
was-
and it's like whatever. That might be why they go 4-3. And then if they pull up
I
the
agree
event and
with
just
you.
make winners bracket, like I
They
think
go
they have a
4
chance to
and 3,
win.
though. They're comfortably in winners. If you go 4
What?
and
Yeah,
3.
that was my next question.
Yeah.
Ben, what was the? Was
Wow.
it 2 and 5 made winners this stage? Was
Yeah,
it a 2
and
and
the 8
5?
spot.
Yeah,
They should be good.
barring a fucking breakdown.
Yeah, and they play.
They'll
Falcons.
be fine. They have hard matches for sure, and I'm gonna pick the other teams in a couple of them. But I think that they'll be fine.
If
for
Optic,
winners at least.
if Optic
If
doesn't
they start losing, that'd
go
be insane.
4 and 3, at least I don't care what their schedule is. That is a big concern.
That's why this Minnesota match is big because I think FaZe is a
This
tough
is the
ass.
one they need to win.
They need to win this one. They need to win
I
this
agree.
one. The Carolina one
They got
could
free
be-
Falcons points too.
could be
They
a
lose
toss
to
up.
FaZe, whatever. But
you don't get
Minnesota,
points if the
Carolina,
Falcons
you
win
got to
now.
win at least one,
Agreed.
if not both.
I'm picking Carolina to beat them.
Carolina right now, until I see them play, I feel like Carolina could probably beat them. Miami just beat them at the major. So
I'm picking Optic to win that. I don't care.
Toronto
Agreed.
Thieves really tough. LAG they should win. Like I know.
I'm picking Toronto and Thieves. I know like Optic fans hate
It's,
me right
it's
now,
just
but
tough, bro. Again, that's why I'm gonna be like objective with Optic. Like it's like I think the best version of this team is not gonna be until March, and I'm worried about the map pool with them with AG. It's just like there are a lot of teams playing fast, 4-sub, like Hosty type stuff, and I just think it's gonna take them a second to like get informed with AG on the like decision making they make in a squad in those situations. Like don't be surprised if they pull up to a couple of these series and they're fumbling the bag on closing maps. They get off the hot starts and they let the map take over.
I think we're overestimating like how
Talented there.
much time they need and underestimating.
well, that's
how
why I asked the
talented they
second question to like where you guys think the alarms got to raise.
I said like the first 2 matches is it. Because even like what I said earlier is like when you make, I mean, this isn't even like a new team. It's 3 players and they're bringing back someone they just won chance with. But even when you make a new team, you still see glimpses
The
Yeah.
honeymoon.
of those highs. Maybe it comes in a match. Maybe it just comes
They
in
won
practice.
champs with this team last year.
Of course, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
even with this learning curve they're on right now, like if they are a good team, they will see glimpses of being very good right away. And it might not come in the matches. It might come in the matches. But at the end of the day, this team is so talented that if they're not winning some of these matches, just slamming these lesser
that are-
talented teams, then there's a bigger issue here, and everyone should be very concerned if you're an Optic fan.
Well, I only heard 3 for sure dubs, and it was LAG, Miami, and Falcons.
And the
Everybody
Falcons one
else-
isn't for points, by the way. That gets you top
that's-
8 against Toronto, where you got to win to get points.
If we're counting that as 3 freebies and they lose all of the other 4, some of which should be 50-50s, FaZe and Thieves, probably not 50-50s right now. I mean, exactly. But if they're 50-50s, they have to just win some of those. Go back to the point. If they don't win 4, the team has some bigger issues than just, oh, we're a new team.
I think alarm bells are if they go 1-2 over these
Dude,
first 3
motherfucking get this
matches
guy.
and they lose to Toronto on Friday of the minor tournament. And then you're like, okay, we're definitely behind the 8 ball. We have potential, but we've lost to a bunch of like teams that are solidly top 4, top 6. And we have to try and win essentially 3 of the 4 against Miami, Toronto, Thieves, and LAG,
I mean, that's
which is doable, but
I get your point, but
FaZe was in.
that's not how top players think, and that's especially not how this team, the reigning champs winners, are thinking. They're
So I'm gonna-
thinking they're going to come out and slam FaZe, and there's a chance they do. Like it's not impossible.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think
it's definitely
gonna
not
happen.
They'll
possible.
honeymoon the fuck out of them.
Like they're not sitting there thinking
They
like
could.
if they lose these first 2 matches, they're not like, oh, it's okay. We need more time. They're fucking pissed. They're
Yeah,
losing
no,
these
that's
matches.
weekend.
Yeah,
That's weekend.
of course.
They're JCaps weekend for sure.
Yeah.
But
Could be.
to just a
They're
more
competitors, they
Someone in my
fucking should be.
chat said, "Is this the Cook Optic podcast?"
no, it's not.
I feel like I'm
We're
giving
just
them credit.
Realistic.
we're actually trying to do optic a
You
service here
can't
because
talk
I think
objectively, bro. They don't like that shit.
I think the optic fans are going to be so in their own head about the way the first 2 weeks might play out here, and
I
we're
agree.
trying to say that like it's a fast game. They're talented, but they got to get on the same page. They were clearly on the same page in Major 1. I think beyond, if I want to say critically my thoughts, like beyond the AG for Collar thing, you know, I was definitely understand kind of why maybe Ant played bad at the Major. I think Brandon's one's probably more concerning than Ant's performance. I want to see Brandon play more consistent in these non-Dallas, non-online stuff. Like I think Brandon's going to come back home and fry.
Yeah, he
But-
will. I'm really concerned that the microscope's on Kenny right now, and the optic. If you're an optic fan right now and you haven't said the name Kenny in some way, shape, or form in the last 24 hours, you're not an optic fan because
Dude.
that entire fan base is legit. Just
It's a
Kenny's
witch
got to
hunt
play
for
better.
sure.
Kenny's got to play better. If Kenny doesn't play well this weekend, then Kenny's gone. We got to. It's like
Yeah,
that is a
holy
witch hunt for
shit!
sure.
It's crazy right now.
I don't know if it's come across that I'm cooking optic, but I'm in my head, I'm gassing them because I think they are good enough where it's like you don't need this bullshit.
You don't need the excuses.
Yeah, you don't need these excuses and like, oh, we just need more time. Like, no, just come out and fucking play COD and beat these guys you're more talented than. Like it's not that deep where it's like
Yeah.
they need. But Ben, you're saying March, like, bro, they like the season's only what?
It's the middle
8
of
months
February,
long,
bro.
7 months
It's-
long. Bro.
March
They
is
need
in,
a
March is in
full
2
month.
weeks.
They need a full month to get into like
Brother, March is in 2
necessarily
weeks. It's
top one,
28
but
days in February,
it is
brother.
in
they've been scrimming.
They started scrimming on
They just
Tuesday.
started. They started 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Fucking figure it out. They're fine. They're confident. They're good. Like they don't like.
Fuck it.
I'm not buying all these excuses if they start
fair.
slow. Like, bro, they're too good of COD players. The four of them are too good, too talented to have these built-in excuses from
I
us, the fans, anyone. Like he's like I said, maybe the first 2 matches are shaky, but after that, like you got to be on your bullshit.
Well, we'll see with them, but I think they're going 1-1. I think they're.
I'm
I think they'll
excited to
take
see
it.
the process.
I think they're
Not
going to
the-
take care
not
of
the
business.
doc, like the process of their team getting better.
I think
Excited
they're.
to see that.
I think they have a tough loss against FaZe, and they're going to have a nice clean 3-0, 3-1 against Minnesota. They might lose a map just because again reps, S&D, whatever. But I think they'll go 1-1 this week, and that's a good progress there. The last match I want to talk about. Vancouver C9. There's another series again. Considering the situation we just talked about, Minnesota, C9 are playing Toronto. Vancouver are playing Atlanta. Neither team got off to a good start. Neither team wants to be 0-2. Like this could be for, especially for C9. If C9 goes 0-2, like surely
There's a change.
I'm gonna
Thirdly,
be
that's
so
it.
angry if they go 0-2 and make a roster change. I'm gonna be so angry
Why?
because they just
because
wasted
they should
2
just
weeks.
fucking do it. Why are you gonna wait to dig yourself a deeper hole? If you know that your team doesn't work well together, you're gonna lose 2 more matches to be like, oh man, that was the test right there. That really told us our team was ass.
Who are you picking up right now if you're C9?
Tyler,
Okay.
What if they
I
can't
guess.
get Kyler?
Yeah, what if they don't get
then
it?
an AR player that gets kills.
This is
Who's
a
that?
Lunar's angle for sure.
Lunar's angle for sure.
Lunar angle for sure.
They need AR kills, dude. That is what it is. Every team needs AR kills. That's you just do. He's not.
They
Ante
need
is not a sub-oriented flex player. He is another AR.
they need to pick up a
Dylan
flex player. They don't need to pick
Attached does not use a sub.
up. Yeah.
You are going to fall even further behind because every other team is trying to learn how to play like FaZe because FaZe uses 4 subs all the fucking time. Teams are just trying to figure it out. You are C9. You don't use subs if you're ARs, so you have to lean into the AR. Guess what? You're leaning into an AR that can't get kills. So
I mean, if you're going to play the 2-2 split, you better control the fucking map and front run
Exactly.
everybody. That's the Florida Mutineers. Remember how sub heavy, like the middle to end of Modern Warfare
yeah,
2019
you had
was?
Jay and Caesar just fucking running worlds.
And they were just running worlds, just front running people, especially on hardpoint with those ARs, and they were winning those online things. Like it worked in that game, 5v5. But I agree with you. Like I just think they're in a situation where you got to, if they may just need to pick up an AR or go run a sub because Dante's not going to do it. Dante has not done it at all really at the pro
That's
level.
why I'm on the. I'm on the same boat as Cap. Love Dill, but if you're gonna have Dante and Attach on the same team, they both can't not run subs.
Yeah.
So you got to pick one. And if I'm at a team, I'm picking Sib.
I think this might be how it is. So we'll see. What do you guys think? Vancouver, C9. If it was right now, who are you predicting? I'd probably say C9.
It's a 50-50, dude.
It's literally such a toss up.
It's a 50-50.
Insane.
I'll pick Vancouver for funsies.
What is the
Fucking
house? What is the
Neptune.
house?
I'm checking right now. That's what I'm checking.
Neptune cheese. I don't know.
I was gonna say maybe Neptunus comes in and he's him.
Let's see. Vancouver, C9.
I hope so, Cap. I hope so. I feel like Nep's a good dude.
C9 minus
Yeah.
182 favorite, plus 130 for Vancouver, so it's really close.
Picking Vancouver.
There's a minus 1.5 if we're talking NFL odds type angle here on spread. I don't know.
Didn't Clay used to like speak really highly about Nep, like in like their relationship and stuff like that? I kind of remember on
Vaguely.
subliners.
I remember something
remember.
about that.
Nep's problem is he joined a team that
Yeah, I think he's been on some tough situations.
sophomore season for Hydra, he was working on communication and a bunch of other stuff at the time. Clay and Krim were not on the same page and they've talked about it publicly. They were backstabbing each other and management was getting involved. Like he's just stuck getting scapegoated 1v3'd by a bunch of people that didn't want to team with each other. I mean, he's a roaming slayer. Like put yourself in that shoe. Like you're in a situation where these two veteran ARs, mind you, have won everything. Like those guys are good, but like they're telling you can't make this play, that play, that play. Like flipping your
I think
wings.
Vancouver is going to lean into their arc from last year, like a midseason roster change. They just start playing eights and just try to make the game fucking insane. Like that's what I feel like this team's going to do.
And they might be able to pull it off against C9 because C9 don't be controlling the map either. So
Yeah.
And I will say this for C9, we gassed their subs, but I do think down the stretch, the last couple of series for Mac and Cramp, especially for Cramp, I think he's been a little bit up and down in S&D for me.
I mean,
Hardpoint has been good.
When your ARs can't get kills, it's doesn't help your stats, I'm sure. So
Yeah, and Mac had a tough one in that last series against Minnesota, if I remember. But I agree, their biggest problem is the AR thing. It's just kind of starting begins there. So we'll see. I have a feeling I might be going 0-2, and if I agree with Sam, if I'm seeing a change next week,
I'm going to be pissed.
I don't care about this captain to hindsight Ben bullshit. Like, should have done it 2 weeks ago, brother.
No, I'll back your beef, bro.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
I'll back your beef.
All right, that's all the matches. Any last things you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Optic just tweeted a clip titled "Who
thought you were
brought
about to say
Fred
that.
back to Optic?"
I thought you were gonna
You
say
guys
let's
wanna
talk about
watch
optic
Yeah,
more.
you want me to pull it up?
I was thinking as a troll about
Someone linked it in my chat.
I did want to talk about
I
potential.
don't know. They're
It's an
watching
optic.
it.
It's an
I've
optic
seen it, but-
podcast clip.
Yeah, you can watch it if you want.
I
Well,
was going to ask about the maps, the new maps. Are we adding any?
No, they're both bad. They're
For
just
sure.
fun.
Oh,
Yeah, they're just fun.
yeah,
hey, I'm down for fun.
Yeah, they're
Well,
like both 8 subs.
Flawless
like,
map,
just
all
headless.
stuff. Yeah,
do you know
hell
if the
yeah.
pros
Yeah.
actually tried to test them at all?
Dan was in my chat, I think like 3 or 4 days ago. He said that bounty was like a hard no, which is obviously understandable. Dealership, I don't think that they're willing to test either. Dealership is the more promising of the two. I actually like dealership control. S&D is kind of just head bash and hardpoint is 8 subs, but I think dealership control is like a weird viability to it as just a mix up in the pool, but I don't think that they're willing to give it a shot. The spawns on it are kind of weird. Like the points are in the courtyard where the tree is, like P2, or P3, whatever fucking hill it is, and the other one's on the street where the G-Wagon is, where the bomb is. But if you don't block corresponding points, you can literally spawn like a foot from it. So
yeah, it's just weird, and then you just
it plays super weird.
But I think teams would theoretically learn how to like.
Yeah, they would.
They would
min-max
block.
it for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that if all 3 modes, it would be control. I think, in my opinion.
Some
But
might
I doubt they tested anyway.
asking why not bring rewind back. I
They
don't know
should. That should be the real
what to- I don't know what to
conversation.
tell you.
It's up to the league. It's not up to the players. The players, I guarantee you, if they were presented the opportunity right now, they'd put it in the
Right.
pool. But it's up to the league.
Rewind over Vault or Protocol Search? Are you kidding me? At
Or,
least
no,
for
it would be
Search.
Vault or Skyline, and they better pick Vault, or I'll fucking tweak.
Vault
I'm
is
just talking about for
plain
Search,
Sim.
Sam.
No, for search, it'll be Skyline
Oh,
or Vault.
Skyline Search.
I'm sorry for as fugazi rewind is. Like you're telling me rewind wouldn't play better than Vault A plant simulator.
It's Skyline or Vault for sure.
Vault,
I think
bro,
Vault
Vault
sucks.
has to go.
Skyline's also
Skyline is just
sucks.
broke. Skyline sucks, and Vault is a plant simulator. Both maps are objectively
Vault
terrible.
is A plant and throw teammates cat and hope you get
They're
killed
both bad.
simulator. Like
I'll be happy with either one of them being gone. I don't
it's
care.
just it's we have a
They
bad
both
SND
suck.
map pool, so I mean it doesn't seem like the new maps are coming in, doesn't seem like Rewind's coming back, so I guess season 3 in the middle of the season, like where we have like even less breaks in between splits, like it's not even looking good. Austin's in my chat. Skyline is the worst shit. It's glorified TDM. Not even
There
playing
we go,
real
lady.
S&D on the map. I don't think
There
you're
we
wrong about
go.
Skyline, Austin.
Liddy,
No, it's bad.
You think Vault's better
No,
than
he's
Skyline?
I think
Yeah,
that's
he
what
does.
he's
I
saying.
think
yeah.
I assume
the
Austin
majority of
thinks
players
Vault
think
sucks.
Vault is better than Skyline.
Yeah.
To be honest, Skyline sucks.
Austin said not even close.
Don't doubt that.
That's holy shit. Every
I mean,
time I watch Vault, I want to kill myself.
Skyline is Skyline search is like definitely glorified TDM. I think Austin's correct on that.
I think every player is of that opinion. I think everybody hates Skyline Search.
So, and Vault, yeah, like you
That's
can
us
you
playing
can
in
you
Game
can play
7.
slower vaults. I don't know why you would, but there is a bit. Though I think probably, and Austin maybe agrees, and other pros agrees, there is like a little bit of a talent diff in Vault because even though it's an instant A plant, like you still have to execute the post plant 4v4. Like you still got to set up and communicate and be able to rotate
I
effectively
mean,
to hold
dude,
that bomb.
Vault S&D is just relying on the other team trolling on offense, and that's a terrible way to win a map.
Yeah.
You have to bank on them to plant the wrong spot on A. You have to bank on them to like throw their life away in Vault, die to like a random frag if they didn't throw a trophy. Like there's obviously a skill gap to defense to try to retake a bomb site, but most of the time it's just people trolling. Like Mac not turning around when Cell's in a 1v2 shooting pool and he's still watching Vault. Like you just got to hope that defense or offense trolls, and it's a terrible way to play the map.
Austin said Warhawk had one bomb site. It's better than all these maps. I mean, you're not wrong.
We can't talk about Ghost Search, man.
Ghost Search
the
is
pinnacle.
fucking
That's
goated.
the pinnacle, man.
That's the
Can't talk
pinnacle.
Go
about that.
search the perk system. That's just a way
We
different
can't-
ball game.
yeah, you can't even compare.
All right.
You had
so sad.
smokes, you had thermals, you had incog. Like, there's just so much more
Best
going
ever.
on there.
The toolkit was deep, and this one we just got a screwdriver. So,
Actual strategy.
and speaking of screwdriver, someone's asking what's going to happen with Grind. Well, we're going to end there. I'm not even going to talk about that one.
One bomb site, yeah, but one bomb site's it's a free plan. I think that's you know what, whatever.
That's it. We'll have the conversation later.
From a viewer experience,
Yeah,
Vault is the absolute worst.
they
shit.
both suck. They both suck, and we need to
both
retool the
suck.
S&D map pool, but I don't think it's coming anytime soon. So chalk it up. All right, I think that'll do it for today's show. It was Sam. I know you didn't want 2 hours, but
It's cool.
we got close.
Fuck it.
We didn't hit it, but we got close. Well, appreciate everybody that tuned in. As always, you can follow everybody here on their socials. We'll make sure we'll put that in the description of the YouTube video. We're gonna be doing these every week, probably normally on Wednesdays, assuming that Sam's power doesn't go out every Wednesday. We have to record
Yeah,
on
baby.
Thursday. So we have a lot of matches, guys. It's gonna be an absolute sprint. We got 5 weeks of this, 4 weeks of online qualifiers, the minor, and then most of us will be in Dallas probably. So that'll be awesome in a few weeks from now. So appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.